Happy Friday. Happy Friday. April 8th, 2022. You're checking in with Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe Kuhn and Brett Stats-Norsworthy. We're always live from the Family Leisure Studios in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. I am Gabe Kuhn, producing the program on the ones and twos. Go Tigers 247 writer, Brian Dacus. Brian, how are you?
Happy Friday, gentlemen. I'm doing great.
Happy Friday to you. My partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He is Brett Stats-Norsworthy. Brett, how are you?
Gabe Kuhn, I'm good. Good to see you. Good to see you, Brian. Great to be with y'all from now to 6 o'clock and then into the weekend.
Mm-hmm. And we will have Masters updates as we continue along the day. It's the second day of it. Danny Willett right now, I think he just dropped a 3-under, but there's sort of a tie there at the top. Danny Willett, Charles Schwartzel, and Sung J M. We will keep giving you updates as that goes along.
Danny Willett making a strong case to kind of be the foreign version of Andy North. Andy North won 2 U.S. Opens, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. And it carried him to a great life. You know, Danny Willett won here in 2016 and at Augusta National, and he could win it. He could win it Sunday. That 3 of Charles Schwartzel, the 2014 winner, that's going to stand a while.
I saw today, I was watching.
Won't be top 10.
And on 12, and it just always reminds me in some of these majors. And he's had some decent finishes the past 2 years, I think. He finished second in the Open last year, third in the Masters a couple years ago. But Jordan Spieth, today on 12 with a triple bogey to just put himself right there on that cut line. Looks like it's about 5 over right this second. It's going to keep moving around, though. We're still about halfway through the day. It cost him a Masters. Yeah,
several years ago.
His fall, and I know he's still probably a top 20 player in the world, but
and his 29.
His fall though has been rough because 2015 those expectations were ridiculous.
They were ridiculous. He's won three legs of golf majors. Mm-hmm. Lacks a PGA.
He finished second one year though, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 2015, in his breakout year.
Yeah, and that Open Championship when he walked off all that yardage, that was amazing. And then took it up over grandstands and everything. But he's always talking to himself. And I said it a few years ago. If he's developing that much scar tissue, that much snakes in the head in his late 20s, oh my goodness! By the time he's 40. He'll be over the
golf really is. We talk about like basketball and we talk about football, developing scar tissues in big games, and obviously for golf it would be tournaments. Usually you would think that'd be a good thing. In golf, it's not. It's not. It is not. It comes back to you when you really need to.
It got Tom Watson with his putter the career grew older.
When you really need to get it going, you can't in those big tournaments. It really gets.
To be young. Mm-hmm. You don't have all that scar tissue.
Mm-hmm. First out of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. A lot to get to today in regards to guests, as we normally do on a Friday. Alan Bell joins us from CBS Sports Line to talk some gaming at 3:30. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet will join us. Got to catch up with Bruce on a whole lot of things. 5 o'clock, Rex Hoggard joins us from the Golf Channel, from Augusta, and we will be giving you updates on the Masters all day. 3:20, 4:20, and 5:20. We'll get out at 5:45 with Taco Bell Crunch Time. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on our socials. Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and Sports56WHBQ.com. MLB opening day was interesting. It was certainly interesting. Cardinals win 9-0 in Albert's return. Albert went 0 for 5. We really don't have to discuss that. We don't have to get into that. Tears in his eyes.
That's not important.
Tears in his eyes. It was probably hard to hit with the tears in his eyes there in the first inning, but he went 0 for 5. But the Cardinals themselves, they were raking yesterday. Tyler O'Neill hits a bomb. Nolan Arenado hits a bomb. Adam Wainwright, 6 scoreless innings. It looked good
Tommy
for the
Edman
Cardinals.
with a bomb.
Tommy Edman. Yeah. I forgot about Tommy Edman with a bomb.
Liner down the line?
Yeah, Tommy Edman with a bomb. But he hit last. He was 9th yesterday, right? Is he hitting 9th?
Yeah.
I believe he's hitting 9th.
Yeah.
Cardinals score 9 every time out and hold the other team to 0. They're going 162-0.
Yeah,
simple
math.
Right.
Cardinals may never lose again.
There you go. Grizzlies have a forgettable one last night. In their last road game until the playoffs, they lose 121-109 to the Nuggets. And Nikola Jokic, MVP him now. I I don't know what to say. At 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 500
I think
assists
somebody
this season.
did crown him with the headband.
Yeah, what was that about? I've never seen him wear a headband.
Thought it was Slick Watts there for a second.
But 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 500 assists, and you're gonna have to tell me who Slick Watts is. I don't know. I don't get
the
that
original headband guy, 70s for the Seattle SuperSonics.
I love some of the references. Me and Brian have to look each other in the eyes, and be like, "Who the hell's he talking about?"
That's it. I'll explain. I'll run closed captioning at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
But Jokic with that record-setting night. 2 more at home for the Grizzlies. It'll be a back-to-back over the weekend. Pelicans, then Celtics, and also, of course, Masters rolling on. Tiger was 1 under yesterday. It was unbelievable.
It was glorious.
See. It was great. But today,
Inglorious.
not going near as well.
That's
I think
golf.
He's 4 over through, and he's
Yeah.
not. He's just finishing up his front 9.
Yeah, and the wind is it's flummoxing all of them. It was a day to post that score like Charles Schwartzel and head to the clubhouse. Paul Lowry won an Open Championship doing it in 1999 before the tragic playoff with John Van de Velde and even Justin Leonard. Justin Leonard really kind of got he got the shield of all the criticism for joking because of what John Van de Velde did, but Paul Lowry posted that number and just sat back and watched the whole world burn. And a little bit of that's going on today.
Yeah, Charles Schwartzel handled himself today, but this was my prediction yesterday. Today is the day you can possibly put yourself in contention to go win the dang thing because no one is shooting very well.
If you can steal around, Hideki Matsuyama, last year's champion, is kind of doing that one of the better late rounds right now. Everybody, wherever you are on the golf tournament, if you're 2 under, if you're even, if you're +1, 6, 7, 8 holes to play, you would take it right there and just stop. Let me sign for this right now.
Right. But again, cut line at 5 over. I was sad to see Louis Oosthuizen had to withdraw. Injury, undisclosed though, and he played. He did not play well yesterday.
Oh, if you woke up on Christmas morning and that was your swing under the tree, that Louis Oosthuizen swing,
by the way,
it's the best out there.
Bryant showed me a shot today from Bubba
What a
Watson, one of the
shot.
most ridiculous shots I've seen
In the hole, Bob.
ever.
I saw it, and he's under the trees, and I mean in a
Branches,
grove of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how he avoided.
It's not lone tree.
There was
it's
more branch than air through that little gap.
and he takes that Bubba gash at it, and then there's the shot of the green, and the ball comes falling down by the pin like a sack of sugar. I mean,
Rolled up within about 3 or 4
Yeah.
feet. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But right now, leaderboard update. Danny Willett, Charles Schwartzel, and Sung J M all at 3 under at the top. You have Hideki Matsuyama at 2 under. Harold Varner sticking around. He's done for the day.
Real good day.
At 2 under.
First
Dustin
Masters
Johnson as well at 2 under. But Harold Varner, haven't we sort of become? I mean, great day. He had a good day today.
Real good
but
day.
I have been predisposed to believe that it doesn't last that long.
He's had some Sunday trouble, but with more experience, maybe this will be the one. Scotty Scheffler, 3 under through 7 holes.
Mm-hmm.
He's now in a four-way tie for the lead with Schwartzel, Willett, and Sung J M. And Sung J M 3 under, and I mean he's a robot. Loves to play, makes cuts, plays in every event,
Colin Morikawa.
makes a lot of birdies.
Colin
Good
Morikawa
life.
at 1 under. Will Zalatoris at 1 under. My guy, John Rahm, 2 over today. And it looked like he started on 1 and 2, birdied 1 and 2,
Sure did.
and then
And I
just
texted
sort of
you,
floundered.
look out for Rahm. Here comes Rahm.
He just sort of floundered the rest of the day, though. It was a struggle on the back 9 for him.
Yeah,
He ended up bogeying 18, so that was rough.
you know, after the fall Masters, what Dustin Johnson did to it that year, everybody was wondering the heresy. Is Augusta National obsolete for these guys? Throw a little wind,
Yeah.
let it firm up a little bit, and I don't know who cracked the line last night, but it was great. And come Sunday, it's going to be just so dry out there. The person last night said it'll be drier than a crouton.
Tiger at 2 over, so it looks like he just birdied one.
Yeah. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-334-9673, the one and only Lexus dealership in town, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
And that's MLB opening day yesterday. Cardinals coming with
162-0 game.
Heck of a job yesterday. They came out firing. Granted, yes, they are playing the lowly Pittsburgh
And it was
Pirates.
pretty stoked. It was pretty, the density of the crowd. I think that was a legitimate number.
No,
box score number.
If we're talking
Close.
about Busch Stadium, if we're talking about St. Louis, it's a legitimate number. I'm just being honest. I've been there before. I understand what that stadium does. I understand what opening day is in St. Louis. It was a legitimate number. But the Cardinals handled business. Later in the day, you got to see Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani returned to the mound. He pitched well. He got
Had a good eye,
strikeouts.
yeah.
He had 9 strikeouts. I mean, he really went after it, and he got a couple of pitches into the triple digits. At the plate, though, he struggled pretty badly.
Yeah.
Got to see a lot of things going on, but for me, it's the Cardinals. 9-0. I've been talking all this. I wouldn't say trash. I've been talking trash on Tyler O'Neill, but I have been wondering if he can repeat what he did last year.
Gabe, it was motivation.
Yes, he heard me.
It wasn't trash.
He heard.
He should be thanking you.
You were speaking profundities.
He heard the hate, but he 2 for 3 yesterday for him. 5 RBIs, 1 home run. Nolan Arenado 1 for 4. He hit a bomb. He had 2 RBIs. Tommy Edman 1 for 4 with a bomb. Good start to the year for the St. Louis Cardinals.
At the time they traded for Tyler O'Neill, that was in a deal with Seattle, and I think he was at their Double-A affiliate then in Jackson. And I had people tell me that the Cardinals, and I don't remember what the Cardinals gave up, but they were saying they think they just stole one. I'd see him at AutoZone Park, and he'd get his crack in St. Louis, and I didn't think they'd stolen anything.
Yes, that and that short season. That shortened season was not a good one for Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah.
Batted about 170. Pop wasn't quite there.
Last year was career changing for him. My top story, the Tiger story unfolding over the course of this Friday afternoon while we're on the air. We'll have him the whole time while we're on. We'll keep you updated. Yesterday was great, and everybody talks about the first Thursday and Friday of the NCAA tournament being the best 2 days of sport. I'm with you. I'm not quibbling. But yesterday and today, with the opening days of baseball and this on, it's right up there. And then no equivocation for me. Coming up Sunday, my favorite sports Sunday of the year. Yes, more favorite than Super Bowl Sunday, the Sunday of the Masters.
And by the way, what did Tiger came out? What do we call that? Is it navy or black? Because I called black yesterday.
I think it was black.
It looks pretty navy to me.
I don't know. I only
You
saw
said yellow, Brett. I don't even want to hear that. You said yellow. I ain't seen him. I have never
lost.
seen him wear yellow ever.
I don't know that I have either. I don't know
No.
what I say that for.
I don't
have
know.
no
I was
idea.
wondering
Kind
when you
of
said
Masters
it.
color. I don't know.
You're just
Maybe.
going,
Red-
you were going
red
off the board.
Sunday, yeah.
You're going off the board. I understand.
Not top story of the day.
And I brought this up yesterday. Adam Silver is really wanting to address load management and trying to get guys to play games, to make the game more viable, to make the game more watchable, because we've seen issues with that. You pay for a full price ticket to go and watch
You want
John
full freight.
Morant. You go and watch Giannis Antetokounmpo, and those guys are sitting. That's frustrating in a lot of ways, and it turns people away from the game. Now, I have seen some of the most interesting takes, and I agree with some, I disagree with a lot, about what to do about it. And here's the main thing I want to focus on. Everyone is suggesting this. Shorten the season. Shorten the season to 68 games, 65 games, 60 games. I'm telling you right now, that's not a viable option. That will not happen. You come out of COVID-19, you come out of this pandemic, there is a zero, in my opinion, a 0.0% chance
I'm so with you.
that they shorten the season. You look at the NFL, you look at these leagues around the world, around America, they want to extend the season, have more games, create more opportunity for money-making situations.
Baseball's not going to shorten.
It simply-
so the NBA sure not.
It simply will not shorten. I'll say this. There are options of things on the table that would help with load management. I think no back-to-backs is certainly a thought process. I don't know how viable that is. You'd have to lengthen out the season. You'd have to start early, maybe finish a little bit later. But how about minimum game requirements for awards? If you want to win an award, if you want to be on an all-NBA team, if you want to be able to get that max contract, that super max contract, play 85% of the games. Now, if you get injured, that's a different conversation.
Sure.
We can put terminology in there to deal with that. But shortening the season, Brett, is not an option. It will not happen.
I'm so with you. My not top story, Grizzlies night in Denver, Grizzlies road trip. Who cares? Get home safe and sound. Work the timing and the tempo out a little bit Saturday and Sunday back at the friendly confines of the FedEx Forum. And then you take another week off with no games. And then what we set up then, potentially a run to immortality. Towel waving, trick whooping like we've never seen it in this market. This next 8 weeks could be unlike any other we've ever had, and I expect it to be like that. These last 2 games, they mean nothing.
Yeah. And also the past 2 games, to me, Brett, just watching them, it seems like the checkout factor is massive. Seems like the checkout factor is huge. They've been out-rebounded 2 games in a row, and they're the best rebounding
Very human
team
nature.
in the NBA. It just seems like they're not quite all the way there.
Yeah, it doesn't mean a lot at all. Brett Northworthy here for FanDuel this baseball season. Turn K's into cash and big hits into big wins with FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a risk-free first bet up to $1,000. Just sign up, place your first bet, and FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. Great promotions every day, safe and secure app. I love the Mets tonight and Max Scherzer. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code CASH to get started with your risk-free first bet up to $1,000. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
And the reason I say the checkout factor is so big with the Grizzlies, you go look at the box score from last night, and even against Utah, I don't know if, besides rebounding, and even rebounding last night was not the big differential. Against Utah, they out-rebounded them by like 17. There was a huge differential.
That wasn't
there.
the Grizzlies we've seen since November, was it?
But
that looked like Thanksgiving Grizzlies, didn't it?
Yeah, you look at the box score against the Nuggets last night, and there's nothing on it that you really point to. They didn't shoot all that bad.
Denver needed it more.
Didn't turn the ball over all that much.
Still some jockeying.
I would just say that offensively, no one pulled the chain very hard. I mean, Desmond Bain led the team with 14 points. You ain't winning games like that.
It may be my top story come Monday. With the weekend developing with the Masters and other things, I don't know, but I just hope people will stop and think about where we are. We get to sit back next week. I'm going to use the line twice in the same segment and watch the world burn in the play-in tournament. Not only are the Grizzlies safely in, I mean, we're not waiting to maybe play the 6 as the 3 seed. It's the 2 seed with the second best record in the league.
You get to watch the world burn tonight in the East, by the way.
Sure do.
Cavs versus Nets is going to decide 7 and 8. That's going to be fun. Cavs visit the Nets.
I'm for JB Bickerstaff because I love him.
Yeah, Nets. The Cavs have struggled though down the stretch badly.
Any real young team had trouble closing and some injuries.
Yeah, and the Nets, if they win tonight, they put themselves in that sort of 7 spot in that opportunity where they're just about in the play-in.
East is going to be fun to watch this year. It's not ho-hum yawner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still an uphill climb for the Nets though. That's going to be an interesting thing. And also, if the Nets win tonight, that puts the Cavs in a position where they could get past for the number 8 spot.
Yeah.
With the Hawks have the tiebreaker over them. So we'll see what happens. But time now for a Masters update brought to you by Mid-South Wellness in Eastgate, Bob Simpson, State Farm Agency, Wedgwood Golf Club, Bubba Sandifer, Emmett Baird Realty, and Courage Through Cancer 5K. That'll be May 21st at Shelby Farms.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. Blustery conditions, winds up to 30 miles per hour, but Tiger Woods has taken the navy sweater off, and he tried to kickstart his second round at hole number 8.
After the beautifully played pitch shot, Tiger Woods for birdie here at the 8th. And that is into the bottom to a round of applause by the patrons here, an acknowledgement by Tiger Woods. Maybe a little pep in his step as Tiger works back to the 19th. Tiger birdie here at 8 to get back to 2 over.
Mark Carnevale, the call on Sirius XM. Tiger started the round with bogeys on 4 of the first 5 holes, so 2 over for the tournament, 5 off the lead. Charles Schwartzel, Sung J M, and Scotty Scheffler all at 3 under par. You're listening to coverage of the 2022 Masters on Westwood One.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the world is throwing everything it has at you, and to succeed, you need someone to guide you through. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice to help you navigate whatever challenges you're up against and get you safely to where you want to be. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
A challenging second round at Augusta National with the high winds. Let's check the leaderboard. Sponsored by Dell. For your small business needs, call a Dell Technologies advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. Charles Schwartzel, Sung J M, and Scotty Scheffler have a piece of the lead. All 3 under. Schwartzel a 3 under 69, the round of the day. M shoots a 2 over 74. Scheffler, the number 1 player in the world, on the course. He's on the first 9 even today through 7. Danny Willett was at 4 under par, had the outright lead. He drops to 2 under with back-to-back bogeys at 10 and 11. So Willett, the 2016 Masters champion, is now 1 off the pace. Also at 2 under, Dustin Johnson after a 1 over 73 today. Joaquin Niemann, Hideki Matsuyama, Varner. Again, just a shot back. He carded a 1 under 71 today that featured a chip-in birdie from the side yard off the green at 10. At 1 under par, there's Colin Morikawa, Corey Connors, Will Zalatoris, all in the clubhouse. J.J. Spawn, Taylor Gooch, Kevin Na, also 1 under. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
This Masters Update has been brought to you by Ronald Bubba Sandifer, Emmett Baird Realty, the Courage Through Cancer 5K, May 21st at Shelby Farms, Wedgwood Golf Club, Bob Simpson State Farm Agency, and Mid-South Wellness in Eastgate.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's has been serving the Mid-South for over 60 years, and we want to say thank you to our customers. Without your referrals and repeated business, we would not be in business as long as we have been. We promise to continue to run our company with dignity and quality service that we have for all these years. Those who do not use us, we invite you to take advantage of our $60 spring AC tune-up, which includes washing out the dirt in your condenser coils, checking your refrigerant pressures, checking your electrical components, and replacing customer-provided filters. Keeping your AC system maintained can reduce your heating and cooling utility bills by as much as 30% and also help reduce unwanted breakdowns by as much as 80%. Just like maintaining your vehicle, your HVAC system needs to be serviced routinely to work at its best. Call Choates today at 347-8086 or visit our website at choateshvac.com to schedule your $60 AC tune-up. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Hi, everybody. Greg Gaston for FanDuel. Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlays, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boosts on the biggest events that let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started, and be sure to sign up with promo code GASMAN so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code GASMAN. Must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkhammer for the Sunrise Truck Corral. Going to buy a truck? Sunrise has new trucks, used trucks, big trucks, little trucks, custom trucks, factory trucks, long bed trucks, short bed trucks, regular cab trucks, extended cab trucks, crew cab trucks, 4-cylinder trucks, 6-cylinder trucks, 8-cylinder trucks, 2-wheel drive trucks, 4-wheel drive trucks, all-wheel drive trucks, GMC trucks, Chevy trucks, Ford trucks, Dodge trucks, diesel trucks, SUVs, light-duty trucks, heavy-duty trucks, trucks for rich folks, trucks for poor folks, trucks for young folks, trucks for old folks. Want a truck? Go online to the Sunrise Truck Corral, the old Hummer building in Bartlett.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the number. Flexing on these every bone and muscle.
Back rolling on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Questions, comments, concerns, go into there. If you have any questions for Alan Bell on any wagering advice, throw them in there as well. Again, 901-360.
This inning by inning baseball wagering that Alan Bell is at the vanguard of. Really a strong opening day with it yesterday, and what they're doing at CBS Sportsline, what Alan's doing in all the various ways we can now. And today, the story from Own3.com, that's Shannon Terry's group, Ivan Mazel's there, and there was a big feature today. I might be getting it wrong. It might have been Matt Zenitz. Anyway, today there was a big story. Sooner rather than later, like in 2 or 3 or 4 years, you will have at college football stadiums windows to go up to and bet.
I don't see why we don't get that going right this second. It just makes a whole lot of sense. Let's bring in Alan. Alan Bell, 247 on Twitter from CBS Sportsline. Sportsline.com is where you can find his work. Alan, what's happening, man?
Man, what's up, boys? Hey, I'll tell you what, man. You talk about Shannon Terry. I worked for him for about 6 years. Yeah, I love it, man. I tell you, I love Shannon. He's a brilliant, brilliant dude. And, yeah, they're exactly right. That's going to be happening sooner rather than later.
So, Alan, I'm curious, from your perspective, I know you do a lot of stuff beforehand and you sort of handicap things beforehand. How much value is there in sort of live betting and sort of what Brett was referring to with the MLB inning-by-inning stuff?
Yeah, so, live betting, absolutely. There's a ton of value, right? Like, and that goes across any sport, whether you're looking at football, basketball, baseball, whatever. Like, obviously early in a game, college basketball is really kind of your king because, you could have a team that, say you want a better number on and, the opposing team jumps out to like a 6-0 lead, right? Like, you could grab real value really quickly and have essentially the entire game, to play. But, yeah, like, live betting in baseball, you got to have a feel. You got to know where, who's due up, top 3 in the lineup at that inning, what pitching situation looks like, relief pitching situation looks like, coming up. But if you got a good feel on it, man, like you can really make a lot of more money than you would just kind of betting before the game, if that makes sense.
And Alan, mentioning the various colleges and the idea that, and I was kind of chuckled the other day when I was talking about next year. there's a regional of the NCAA tournament that will be hosted in Vegas. A ticket will be punched to the Final Four out of Vegas. Coming sooner rather than later will be a Final Four at the new Dome at Vegas. It's not listed yet, but we know one's coming there because the Final Four likes to get to the domes and to the newer ones. And Alan, just not 10 minutes ago, just not that long ago, in the 21st century, still that Vegas image and how college and administrators and professionals, and especially post Tim Donaghy, how scared everybody was of Las Vegas. And I bring up the colleges that may have betting windows in their football stadiums to bring this point up, Alan. It's a little bit like the person that may have had their life really impacted when they were a younger person over a joint in the car or a roach clip or a dime bag, and you know they were labeled stoner, doper, dopehead. And they, you know, they did break the law, but the labeling and the shaming so much. And I had a friend of mine in the late 90s that was a sports writer in Springdale, Arkansas. I'm not going to call his name. Was a sports writer, and he shouldn't have been doing this, but he was. He was betting on Razorback games from the telephone in the press box, you know, meant to, you know, to file stories from with the local book. And they caught on to it, and the SEC, the Southeastern Conference, not the Securities and Exchange Commission, they were irate. Man lost his life and his career and his reputation over it. And now, you know, 30 years later, we're going to be able to walk up to the window, hey, give me a 16 parlay.
I know, right? Yeah, like, you know, it's fascinating. Like, you know, first you brought up, you know, just the city of Las Vegas as a whole. You know, I kind of get that, you know, when it was centralized only there. But even still, like, it was naive to think that people weren't betting in other areas for a long time. You know what I mean? It just wasn't, on the table, you know, and legal. But, you know, it's fascinating that we still kind of have remnants of you know, leagues and sports trying to keep a little bit of, you know, what they would call control. And I'll give you a perfect example. Look at the state of Tennessee. You cannot bet on college props, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot bet player props. You could do that in a lot of other states.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do it. Yeah, you know, and then there are other states where you cannot bet on local college teams in that state, right? So it's kind of, you know, state by state. So, yeah, it's fascinating that, you know, one, how far and how fast we've come. You know, from those, because you're right, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, look at the NFL. 4 years ago, they wouldn't even talk about fantasy football, right? Much less sports betting. Right?
And fantasy football arguably was the backbone of the league. It helped to end the strike in '87.
Yeah, Major League Baseball, if they would have stuck with that and used it, man, they would have been in a much bigger spot.
Wasn't it illegal in the state of New Jersey to bet on St. Peter's in the tournament?
Yeah,
in the state of Illinois, you cannot bet on Illinois teams.
Yeah, I mean,
correct. Yeah.
So it's still there's still some weird remnants too, and like Alan, I always go back to this too. In the state of Tennessee, not being able to bet at a brick and mortar kiosk or anything like that, they don't have any of that. They're not allowed to do that. I think that's a little backwards in a lot of ways too. But I do think with at the college level, I think it's been forced too, because look at who's running these conferences too. George Kliavkoff has a bunch of relationships in wagering and in handicapping. He knows those things, and now you see not just schools but conferences going after and aligning themselves with sports books as a whole.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Like the hand is being forced, exactly like you said. It's perfectly said. And two, you know, in regards to, you know, kind of the brick and mortar, you know, what's going to happen is the state is going to realize that there's so much more money to be made, not only just for the sports betting part, but in terms of just businesses and local businesses, right? So what they'll do, somebody's going to be smart and push it. It's going to have to be somebody with some power, right? But, you know, you're going to have somebody like, you know, you're going to be over at Jerry Lawler's barbecue, right? And they're going to have kiosks, like not even kiosks, like they're going to have at your table tablets, right, to where you can log into a specific book. A book will sponsor that restaurant, and you go in, say it's BetMGM, right, whoever, right, and you're going to place bets at your table watching the game through those tablets, kind of like what you do at Buffalo Wild Wings, like you can play those games.
Yep.
Like somebody's essentially
like
going
Dave
to do
and
that.
Buster's. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Right.
And of course,
Yeah.
with the proviso, and not just the legal addendum that I do for every fan doing in the Tennessee Red Line, but always with the addendum of, if it's not for you, don't do it. If it's against your moral compunction and your lifestyle, and I respect that. Don't do it. If you're having a problem with it, if it's getting into the mortgage payment, stay away from it. And I sure wouldn't want to encourage somebody that may have a proclivity or a problem with something to continue doing it. But that's with everything. That's at a buffet.
Yeah. Hey, let me say this. You go to a store, go to any store, go to a gas station. They're selling a ton of cigarettes and beer over there, aren't they? Right? Like, I mean, I agree with you. Like,
right? If it's not for you, walk past the cigarette. I've never had one in my mouth in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, right? And look, we're still so young into this too, right? Like, for like the state of Tennessee, we're only 2 years into it, so we got time. It'll evolve. And think about this on a national scale. We still don't have Florida, Texas, and California. Those three monster states.
Come on,
right?
Texas, do better.
You have to.
I know, right? I know.
You have to. There's money to be made for the state. There's money out there. Just take advantage of it. And I do realize, and part of this, I think, here in a few years, and not just a few years, you've seen it sort of translate to this. There's a lot of people that are going to come along with responsible betting and trying to give you all the answers like you do at Sportsline. That's just sort of what's going to happen as this thing.
It's the rugged marketplace, and I'm just very libertarian on this. If it's not for you, run from it. If it is, try to enjoy it and don't develop it into a problem.
100%, right? And the state of Tennessee already has made $40 million of real money from this. Just already, man.
Yes.
Now, on the government coffers point, I'm going to go a little more libertarian here. The thing that bugs me there is y'all all know we can't give government enough. They're going to spend it.
It's true. That's 100% true.
Right. All right, now actually, let's get to some wagering. Let's get to some actual picks. What do you think about as far as some MLB futures or teams to ride early in the season? What do you think is the best way to go?
Yeah, so a team that I really like in terms of futures are the Toronto Blue Jays. All right, I love the makeup of this team. They get up and they're aggressive as hell at the plate. Like, they want to put runs up, and it's tough to beat a team that's scoring 6, 7, 8 runs a game. Right?
That's Springer as the plate setter.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, I mean, they've got guys up and down that thing. You got Bo Bichette, you've got Vlad Jr. Like, this team can rake. They can also play defense. All right, and they can also pitch. So I like them. Like, when you look at futures, like, you can get them to win the AL East, I think, at like plus 200, something around there, right? So, I like that one. The tough part is that the teams at the top, who you really want to take, their numbers are going to be juiced to the moon. If you're looking at like a Los Angeles Dodgers, like they're kind of like Gonzaga. Like in basketball, like you're going to see them all season long. It's almost impossible to bet them because every game is like minus 200, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're going to have to take them, minus 1.5 on the run line just to, kind of get normal juice there. But yeah, man, like, early in the season, I like teams that can hit because you're going to have teams that, their pitching staffs, they take a little time, to relax and get in. And as well, you're going to have a lot of teams that really just aren't hitting the ball very well because they haven't done this in so long. So when you have a team that is putting up runs, buddy, they're going to be tough to beat, man.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I saw yesterday, and our producer, when we did our MLB picks, picked the Mets to win the World Series. But one thing I saw, 14-1 are their odds to win the World Series this year, and they are the most publicly bet team so far. Does that surprise you?
Well, a little bit, but it doesn't really because, you're going to get good odds on it, right? And they've got a good roster, good makeup, and they've got new ownership up there, right? So, yeah, man, like it totally makes sense. And especially, when you're in a division where you've got the reigning World Series champion, a lot of times those teams, not that they fall off, but they kind of fall back, right? Yeah. Like it's tough to do that 2 years in a row. So you kind of work yourself in with a little bit of magic there too. So, yeah, I mean, It sounds surprising, but when you look at it and really think about it, it's not that surprising at all.
College football futures are in team over and under team win totals. Are you hanging back a little bit later with all the NIL and all the player movement, because you really kind of need to know a roster before you can decide if you're going to bet on them?
Yeah, you are, right. And with so many transfer portal moves, right? Like, that's the hard part, is that you just can't get a feel. So you want to, go through, the spring games, but even those now, like, they're just glorified practices at best. And you got celebrities coaching and, former players. Like, it's tough to get a feel, right? So, you got to wait a little bit. Like with the NFL, like, you've got a pretty good idea. Like, they're not going to change much, from what they do. They're just going to, you either add it or, lost players, who you could kind of, kind of set a table to. But with college, man, like, you could have a whole offense change, right? And it's nobody that graduated. Like, you just had 5 guys that left, and you brought in 6 dudes, and it's like, man, I don't even know this team. So, yeah, the college part is tough for sure.
I do enjoy going to spring games because I love college football. But the best thing about it is I know when that's over, the next time we're at the stadium is for real.
Yeah, you're right. And I'll tell you what, you bring up a good point, too. While we just talked about how it's tough to get an idea, of a lot of teams, if you're a team that didn't have a lot of movement, like it's pretty much the same team from last year, especially at the quarterback position, that team is going to have a huge added advantage of just playing together, playing with the playbooks, right? If they haven't had a lot of coaching changes
Arkansas,
either.
KJ Jefferson.
100%. Yep. If you've got guys
Tennessee,
that played in it,
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like those teams, you're going to find value there for sure.
So, curiously, we went over the over-under win totals last year for the NFL, and we still have some things that we'll sort out through the draft, which is at the end of the month. And I know that over the past five years or so, wagering things on the draft has become a lot more popular. Do you have anything right now that you'd be willing to share, or are you waiting until we get a little bit closer for all these smoke screens and everything else come out?
Yeah, just a little bit, right? We just want to wait just a little bit here because you want to just kind of have an idea of how free agency, shakes out in full, right? Where teams sit. And then you can kind of approach it from a couple different ways. Like you could go positions in terms of like, hey, over under 3.5 quarterbacks in the first round, right? So you kind of get a feel of that. Number 2, you could bet on which player is going to go to said team, in say the first round. But my favorite is which position goes to said team, right?
Right.
So once
Love
free agency kind of, absolutely. Once it settles itself, you're like, okay, now we know where these teams sit, all right? Now we know where the Saints need to go. We know where the Titans need to go. That's where you're going to find your value, and you'll find really good ones. Like, books are starting to put them up now. If you're looking at the Titans, like, they could use a wide receiver. They could use, offensive line. They could use, a linebacker. And you get plus 600, plus 700, plus 800, right? Like, you can get really good numbers there. So we're only like a week or 2 away from being able to really dive into it. And then it's gonna take off, man. It's gonna be fun.
So what do you think about this quarterback class as a whole? Hey, what do you think that number will actually look like?
It's rapidly disintegrating.
Yeah, it is, man. Like, that's the thing is that just not a lot of teams need a starting quarterback, right? Like, I mean, go ahead.
And I was just saying, the supply from a first-round standpoint doesn't seem to be quite there.
100%, right? Like, you just don't have those big names. I mean, you got guys, like Malik, like, Matt Corral at Ole Miss. Heck of a quarterback. Right? Like, but it's like, okay, wait, normally he would be number 1 overall, wouldn't even think about it, good to go. Well, teams just not many teams need a starting quarterback. Like, they've kind of done this over the last couple of years. But the interesting part is this, take a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? So they've got Mitch Trubisky in there, 1 year, 2 year, whatever, but they still have to find their young, star quarterback in the future.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, if they wait and get super value in like the second or third round, or are they sitting there, at 20 or whatever number that they are, and they're saying, man, Matt Corral sitting here at 20, like, we could get him, and we don't have to play him right now? Like, we could
Somebody's going to pull a rope-a-dope.
100%, right? Like, somebody absolutely is. So, like, that's the fun part. So, I haven't seen the numbers. The books might have them up yet. I would probably say 3.5.
For the first round?
Probably,
right.
Yeah, it's probably where they'll put it at, and I don't know if that gets close. I feel like it's either going to be 1 or 4. You know what I mean? Like, it's either going to be one of those to where, teams, see one team do it and then they all do it, or they kind of all in their heads are like, oh, we can wait. So fascinating. Man.
If it's that one, if it's that one number, inevitable run on quarterbacks in the second round, inevitable.
Absolutely. Yep. See, and you nailed it right there. Like if you're live betting it, during the draft, 100%, man. That second round, be good to go.
And Alan, I've been doing this since the Titans moved to the state. First is the Tennessee Oilers with the year in Memphis, then to Vanderbilt, and then to the new stadium. They've been wanting to draft a receiver in every draft.
They have, and that's what was so funny. Like when national, medias were like, "Oh yeah, the Titans got to trade AJ Brown." I was like, "It took them 18 years to find an AJ Brown." Like they're not trading this guy. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
You're right. Like they have tried to draft receivers forever and just haven't been able to do it. And I got a feeling they're going to do it this year too. We'll see which round they go, but they need another one different.
I also don't know how much more clear that John Robinson has to be about absolutely 100% wanting to sign A.J. Brown to a long-term deal. And that was one of the more bizarre talking points that came out this week. But, Alan, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great weekend, Alan. Thank you.
Hey, y'all too. Appreciate it, boys. Thanks.
Love having Alan Bell with us every single Friday. Love Jason's Deli. That's where I ate lunch on this Friday. And I suggest you do it. It's good for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Don't forget it about the dinner time. Not just a lunch place, and it's all three meals, and it's healthy. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. Jason Deli, all about choice. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, you'll be delighted at Jason's Deli. If you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own, knock yourself out. Plenty of organic food to choose from. That great salad bar, over 30 items just on the salad bar. And then all the menu salads like the Mesa chicken salad, the chicken club salad, the Big Chef salad. My favorite, the taco salad. All the breads, all the meats, all the cheeses, all the spreads. Also very fresh. And they like to say, bring more to the table. It's a family thing. Over 200 Memphis area associates associated with this Jason's Deli group, with locations at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. And if you're at any of those locations, wrap it up with a complimentary free ice cream. Big line there today at noontime. And always check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. And they like to say, whether it's for 5 or 5,000, they have you covered with the catering.
So we finished the conversation there with Alan Bell about the NFL draft. That comes up at the end of the month in 20 days, day one of the NFL draft. When we come back, want to go over this Todd McShay 2-round mock and also talk about Matt Corral. He's taking some visits this week. We'll let you know where he's visiting when we come back on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Brought to you by Action 24/7, James Gaddis Jewelers, and Acura of Memphis. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me.
Well, watching the Masters at the break, looks like Stuart Sink just aced
in the hole.
Aced 16. 48 years young. He's 6 over those.
How big's the bar tab for him? They run it up big?
You know the answer to that.
That should be fun.
Run it up huge.
Yeah.
As far as the leaderboard is concerned, though, Scotty Scheffler, new leader, 4 under through 8. On the round, he's 1 under. Charles Schwartzel, Sung J M done for the day, both at 3 under. Harold Varner, Dustin Johnson, Kevin Na, Joaquin Niemann, and Hideki Matsuyama also at 2 under. So there, looks like Na, Niemann, and Matsuyama still on the course right this second. Matsuyama at 8, Joaquin Niemann at 9, Kevin Na at 11.
Cut line right now +4. That would get 52 people in. It's 50 in ties, so that would wedge 52 in. If it fell to 6, that would get 59 players in. But I don't know if it'll do that or not. It's bouncing around pretty good, but it won't drop to 3. Right now, +3's 44 players.
And I know people want to know where Tiger Woods is. 2 over. 2 over for the tournament. 3 over on the day, still on 9.
Kind of steadying himself.
Yes. Oh, actually, 1 over. I apologize for that. 1 over and putting for par right this second.
On 11 and hit a round-the-world shot with the kind of the new design. He missed it, so he's going to drop 1. But a little steadier than earlier in the round. Still could make the cut.
Yeah, it's just a tough day. It's a tough day for a guy coming off of such surgeries and everything else.
14 months ago, we wanted him to live.
Yeah.
10 months ago, we wanted him to walk.
Mm-hmm.
6 months ago, have fun playing with your children and your buddies. So he's come a million miles.
I don't even know if there was a care if he really played ever again 6 months ago. No one gave a damn.
And did you hear the other day in his media availability, a writer asked him if he didn't get to come back, would he have been pleased with his career? And he nicely said, yeah, I think 82 wins and 15 majors, I could be pretty pleased, yeah.
That's a bad question.
Oh, incredibly bad. Did you think about that?
I do think people going after whoever asked the do you think you can win the Masters this year question, people went after him for that question. And he said, obviously answered yes. I think that was a fair question.
That's why he's there. That is fair.
That's a fair question in that circumstance.
Because Fred Couples says no.
Yes.
He knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Larry Mize. Larry Mize was lucky to win the one he did, but he won it.
I think all of us know if Tiger's going to participate in the tournament, he thinks he's going to win. But asking that question, I think, was wholly fair. Now, NFL draft 20 days away. Have a 2-round mock out by Todd McShay. But Matt Corral, who in that mock is at 40 to the Seahawks. The drop for him has been pretty unreal to think about what he's thought of right this second. But he has a chance to prove himself in some meetings, in some interviews.
Now, can they work him out at those?
I don't believe so, no. Just visits.
Okay.
Just visits. See, he's already
He's got to
done
sell
it.
himself.
'Cause at this point, you've done your workouts. You've done all on a field. You've shown them what you can. You look at the film; it's there. But he has scheduled visits next week to the Panthers, the Eagles, the Steelers, the Saints, and the Falcons. All teams that, I mean, some in more need right this second than others, but all within 2 years of looking for a quarterback for the future.
I'll say it again. That Steeler scout was at every game last year, and if they draft him, if they jumped up there and traded up or wherever they draft and surprised with the pick, then they've really played possum really well. They've been able to kind of hide it. If they don't, then I think in their opinion, they had overwhelming reason to move along. Because they have really done the intel on him.
And it's interesting to me, too, because the Falcons, this is one, I'm not totally positive if there's any other quarterbacks that they're scheduling visits with. But the Falcons with Arthur Smith, you talk about a guy
Seven-step drop, classic pocket quarterback.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy who play action, in the pocket, under center all the time. He just went just went and got Marcus Mariota, and now he's interviewing Matt Corral. I think that's interesting for the Falcons.
Yeah, it is. Brett Northwood here for FanDuel, golf's first major tradition. Unlike any other, now you can bet on who you think will go home with the green jacket at FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get 30-1 odds on Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, Dustin Johnson to make the cut at Augusta. That's right. If any of those players make the cut, you win big. Rory McIlroy to complete the Grand Slam. He's hanging around. Or Dustin Johnson having really good round. So see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sports book and take a swing at betting the first major. I still like Cameron Smith to win the Masters come Sunday. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app using promo code CASH to get 30-1 odds on Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, Cam Smith to make the cut at Augusta. That's promo code CASH. FanDuel Sportsbook, official sports betting operator of the PGA Tour, must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only, must wager in designated offer market. Max bet $5. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Now, people may slap me down for this, but I'm right. If Matt Corral, if I'm talking about these 5 teams, Panthers, Eagles, Steelers, Saints, and Falcons. Steelers, you can always be put in a good situation. That's a good franchise.
Saints would be magical with Ole Miss fans.
But I don't think the Saints would be the best fit, given what's going on. You'd want to be there with Sean Payton. They don't have Sean Payton anymore. The Eagles, with Nick Sirianni, he's become a lot more open through Jalen Hurts with run-pass options. I think that would be a good fit, but the question becomes, is Jalen Hurts going to be their guy in the future? What's he going to do this year? So we'll have to see.
They've put him on notice, haven't they?
They have.
He's got to produce.
This Todd McShay 2-round mock, we'll get to it real quick before we get out for the hour. But Aiden Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker, Kayvon Thibodeau, he has a run of defensive ends, of edges, 1 through 3, Jaguars, Lions, and Texans. Then Garrett Wilson at number 4, wide receiver from Ohio State to the Jets. 5, Ike Mekonwu. To the Giants. Only one quarterback in the top 10, and that's Kenny Pickett. He thinks will go to the Panthers. This year, it's so interesting with these quarterbacks. Next year, you would think, though, severe step up in regards to top 10 caliber, top 5 caliber quarterbacks. But that'll do it for hour number 1. Hour number 2 on the way. We'll start it with Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
So, as you graduate and head out into the world, there's only one thing that you need to know.
Hi, this is Jamie from Progressive. Yeah, I can talk now. Progressive protects you 24/7. So, tell me what happened. Oh, I'm sorry, Gene. Can you give me 1 second? Brush out for every meal. Congratulations and thank you. Sorry about that. I'm back. So tell me about this fender bender.
Contact us 24/7 on the phone, online, or on the mobile app. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South Sports Station.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back rolling on a Friday. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. On a Friday at 4. Always pleased to be joined by our man from the Gold Sheet, Bruce Marshall. Bruce, how are you?
Hey, Bruce.
Good afternoon, Gabe and Brett.
Good afternoon to you, Bruce. I was telling Gabe before you came on how much you love soccer. Now help me, because I don't know it. They're in their big playoffs right now, aren't they?
Well, they're in the European competitions are coming into deep in the knockout phase. So the Champions League is in the final 8. And they will play the final game at the end of May, which is now going to be in Paris, I believe. They moved it out of St. Petersburg, Russia, for obvious reasons. And the Europa League is also progressing on. Plus, the domestic leagues are finishing up as well. And when we get into May, so they're in the home stretch right now, and that's where it's really interesting, because this is where the relegation, which is really
right.
The interesting thing about European soccer, the top leagues. The bottom 3 teams drop out and are replaced by the top 3 teams from the next division in each country. And the relegation fight is really, at the bottom of the table, is oftentimes more dramatic than the championship fight. And that's what we've got going on all over Europe right now as well.
Where's Liverpool? Are they in the middle of it?
No, well, they're in the middle of the championship fight. Big match against Manchester City on Sunday. They are a somewhat substantial underdog in this one. They are both in the Champions League in the middle of their quarterfinals matchups there. Interesting price here. There's also a draw price. Remember, there's a third bet you can always make in soccer, and that's on the draw, and you're getting about a plus 250 in this one. Both of these sides are ahead into their second leg in the Champions League, which will be coming up midweek next week, the second legs. So this is very big for the English Premier League. on Sunday, Liverpool, Man City, probably the match of the year to this point in England.
Wow, I didn't know that. All right, come World Cup time in Qatar. How do you pronounce it? I hear so many pronunciations of Qatar. Is it Qatar or is it Qatar?
I
Or
believe
Qatar.
it's actually like gutter.
Gotcha.
But,
Rhymes. Okay.
But that sounds so unappealing. I mean, if you say Qatar, everybody knows what it is. I think it sounds better, even though that's apparently not the correct pronunciation. One note, that starts November 21.
In the middle of football, American
middle
football.
of football. So, and that's because of where it is, and they can't. There's a whole story behind how Qatar got the World Cup and the corruption, which it was. They bribed the FIFA Executive Council. And
They paid off the parking lot attendants.
Tremendous fallout from that, and all the stuff that's gone on there. And they couldn't play it in the summer because it's just too bloody hot in the summer. So they're going to play it right in the middle of fall. They're stopping all the domestic seasons in Europe.
And we'll have halftime. We'll have breaks, won't they?
They'll have breaks. And the interesting thing on our side here is that we've never had a World Cup in the middle of American football season. It's always in the late spring or early summer. So we're going to wake up Thanksgiving morning either have a choice of watching the Lions play or watching watching Spain
or
play.
Mr. Roker with the parades or football.
Right, or watching Spain play Switzerland in the World Cup. So I mean, that's what we're going to have to look forward to in November and December.
How do you think the World Cup can handle that in regards to ratings here in America?
It'll be interesting. The timing of it, probably they might not run right into the NFL because Qatar is a couple of time zones away from main Europe, which is from the central time zone 7 hours away. So I'm thinking Qatar's 9 or 10. So I'm not sure about how the timing's going to work out. It's probably going to be early morning. I don't think that except maybe one match per day. If there's a nighttime match there, it might butt into some of the NFL games on the weekend or college games. But usually I think it's going to be really early in the morning. They're going to have a lot of these games on TV here. But, I mean, the big in Europe, it's going to be prime time viewing pretty much in Europe. So it'll be the TV ratings will be boffo like they always are for the World Cup.
Bruce, pencil it in. Put it in indelible ink right now. 2-team parlay on Thanksgiving Day. Give me Mexico in the World Cup and the Ole Miss Rebels in the Egg Bowl.
There you go. This will be a first.
I want you to be at the Egg Bowl with us this year.
Well, let's see. It'll be I mean, the Egg Bowl is going to be big, and that'll be a first, a soccer Egg Bowl.
And in Oxford.
Parlay.
Yeah.
It'll be in Oxford this year. Yeah.
Come see us. You're good luck. Ole Miss doesn't lose when you're in attendance.
Well, maybe I'll show up. That would be kind of fun. It was fun at the A&M game, I'll tell you that.
Boy, it sure was. I was telling these guys before we came on today, Ole Miss, we go to A&M late in October, and I'll say it right now. I'll say it leading up to that week. I think Lane Kiffin outcoaches Jimbo Fisher every single time they meet.
I was thinking about Jimbo this morning because I was talking to Jimmy out down in Baton Rouge, and he brought up A&M a little bit, but I got to be thinking, if Jimbo didn't beat Alabama last year, the walls might be starting to close on him a little bit. Like I've mentioned, this is looking a lot like Jackie Sherrill in the 80s down there. And I still think, and they still are pretty confident in Jimbo, but a lot of it goes to that Alabama game last year. They don't win that one. I'm telling you, they would be, and the heat's turning up anyway, but it would really be turning up if he didn't have that win.
There's also a stat out there about number one recruiting classes, which A&M had this year. When you have a number one recruiting class, within that 4 years of that recruiting class, every single person that's had one has been competing for a college football playoff. I just, at this point, watching what A&M has done under Jimbo, I think they will break that streak. I really do.
You might be right. I mean, it's been the same sort of teams at the top of the recruiting who end up, it's been the Alabamas and the Georgias, and so, that's who's been there. But it's how those things blend in. There's other things happening in college sports the last couple of years, the COVID, the extra eligibilities, the transfer portals and all that, which have changed some of the dynamics here.
Right.
I don't know. Jimbo better get, I know, he's a quarterback whisperer and all that, but
maybe he needs to yell and not whisper.
You need to yell, and I don't know. I mean, Kellen Mond was like their chance a couple of years ago, and they didn't quite get over the hump. And I'm not sure
they waited
got a guy
4 years for him.
It's the double-edged sword, though, getting recruiting classes like that, because the expectation shoots up monumentally, and I don't know.
We
if
know
he's
it
ready
here
for
in
that
basketball, Gabe. We know those expectations.
Right. That's
true. I mean, the more 4s and 5s you sign, the deeper fans want teams to go. Gabe and I, on Monday, we were talking about the 2 games last weekend. Of course, the second game was the classic. I even enjoyed the first game, and then on Monday night, I thought it was such a well-played game. Kansas with the big comeback. Where does that rank in NCAA final comebacks for you, Bruce?
Well, I've had a couple of other shows this week, Brett, to talk about that. And I came around to thinking there is one, I think, that should be on top of the list. Although, technically, I guess for points making up a deficit, Kansas on Monday might be there as the top. However, I mean, they made up that gap in like the first 5 minutes of the second half. Mm-hmm. So from about the 15-minute mark on in the second half, that game was basically a back, even. There have been some better comebacks than that late in the game. The one that really sticks out to me, and I'm going way back here, 1963 Loyola Chicago and Cincinnati. I'll just set that up really quick.
And you wrote a book about that, right?
I wrote a lot of stories about that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've talked to guys on both teams. Some are unfortunately no longer with us, like Jerry Harkness. But I went to his house in Indianapolis. So in 2009, we talked about it. And coaches, I still talked to a couple of the assistants who were still around, Tay Baker and John Powless on the Cincinnati side. This is several years ago. Anyway, Loyola was down 15, 45-30, coming up on the midway point in the second half, about 12 minutes to go, 45-30. Okay, Cincinnati is the best defensive team in the country. They're also the defending double national champion 2 years in a row. Best defensive team in the country. They run the delay game better than anybody else. There is no three-point shot to accelerate a comeback. There is no shot clock either. So Cincinnati can kill the game off if it can do it right. Plus the fact Loyola couldn't hit the broadside of a barn that night. Mm-hmm. Loyola was 23 of 84 from the floor. They couldn't make a shot. It wasn't like Remy Martin and Agbaji making some threes on Monday night. They couldn't shoot, yet somehow they clawed their way back into that thing, forced overtime right at the end, and then won at the death of overtime. Vic Rouse followed up a Les Hunter missed. I figured they couldn't shoot all night, but it was basically a rebound follow-up at the buzzer overtime. They win. This team shot 27% from the floor. I don't think they made more than 2 or 3 outside shots all night.
And the heck, they win.
And they somehow won. You can't. I have watched this on. I don't
free throw line.
Remember.
Did they get to the line a lot?
Sister Jean was there too, right? She was there then, right?
In the day,
had to be.
Well, what's that again?
Sister Jean had to be there.
She was there. Yeah, she remembers it. Sure. And they were. Yeah, it was some free throws, and right at the end, I talked to the guy Larry Shingleton from Cincinnati who missed the free throw that allowed Loyola a chance to tie in the last few seconds. But there were turnovers. Loyola took 39 more shots than Cincinnati in that game. Loyola didn't turn the ball over. That was one good thing about Loyola's performance that night. They couldn't shoot, but they didn't turn it over. Cincinnati got kind of sloppy with the lead. Yeah, they missed some free throws down the stretch. But I've watched that game on video. Now, the first one I can consciously remember was UCLA Duke the next year in '64. But I've gone back and like I said, I've watched the video of Loyola and Chicago and Cincinnati. I've talked to guys and coaches for both teams in the past years. You watch that and you think there is no bloody way Loyola can win this game. I still can't believe they won watching it because they couldn't shoot, but they somehow found a way to scratch their way back. That's the most incredible comeback in NC2A finals history. But it was pretty good on Monday night for Kansas too.
What'd you think of the Duke North Carolina game? What'd you think of the Final Four game?
Well, let me say this. I mean, North Carolina was doing. We thought they could win, beat Duke. I thought they beat Kansas too. And it was working pretty well up until early in the second half. I think they got a little bit too hyper. Caleb Love just got thinking he was Michael Jordan a bit too much, and they just got away from them, though I still think they could have won the game on Monday. In retrospect, though, one thing about the Duke loss, can you imagine if John Wooden in his retirement, if his last Final Four, he lost to USC. Okay?
Right.
And let's add in that he lost to USC in the last regular season game that season too, which he almost did. Now, that's what Duke is going to have to deal with forever now, that their biggest rival beat them at the end. This means more to North Carolina, I think. They can forever live now with Krzyzewski and all the retirement talk. It's huge for the Tar Heel people. And by the way, there's more of them in North Carolina than Duke fans, I guarantee you.
Mm-hmm.
It means a lot more to them. Duke people will forget about it, and they'll still, and a lot of the national media, they'll talk about Krzyzewski. But this meant a lot to the North Carolina people, because they can better live with Krzyzewski's retirement for the rest of eternity now, knowing they beat him twice in the last month and knocked him out the last time. Delicious for North Carolina.
Yeah, that legacy was flushed down the toilet for them, huh? They wanted to bury that legacy that way.
Yeah, and of all teams to do it, I mean, he could have lost to Virginia or
Of
Georgia
all
Tech.
teams.
It wouldn't have been as bad for Duke, but to lose to North Carolina, it would have been like Wooden losing to USC. One other quick note: Wooden didn't announce he was retiring until the day before the final. That was sort of rumored.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a full year like Krzyzewski had leading up to this. So this was a little bit different this time.
And the other bizarre part about the whole Coach K losing 2 times to North Carolina in the most important games of his final season, the national championship became a lot about Roy Williams, who ended it unceremoniously. I mean, completely unceremoniously, just stopped.
Yeah, and I mean, Hubert was there. Most coaches kind of would prefer to go out like Roy did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of coaches don't want the pressure.
Yeah, just kind of ease off the stage.
They ease off the stage. Wooden was just one game. Bob Knight, it was the middle of the season, handed off to his son Pat at Texas.
Really
Tech.
was the Roy Williams Bowl, though, in the national championship. Both those guys got handed those jobs from Roy Williams.
Roy Williams
himself.
got more camera time than Sister Jean would have gotten.
He did, and Dean Smith did the same thing when he
Ashley
retired.
Judd doesn't get that much camera time at a Kentucky game.
I know Roy was there more than anybody, and I mean, listen, that's how Bill Guthridge got the job at North Carolina, because Dean Smith retired right before the season began. And then the wheels went in for Roy a few years later after they went through Guthridge and Doherty. But one other note, just a quick note, this might have been in the regionals when North Carolina was playing up in Philadelphia, but you saw Fran Dunphy sitting next to Roy, and look who LaSalle hired as its head coach this week. Fran Dunphy, esteemed alum. That's his third Big 5 job. You'll never see that again.
Never.
I'm so happy he's back in. He's one of my favorite coaches. I hope they do well. Also, though, he's going to help. They've had some funding stall on this new arena at LaSalle, and I think hiring Coach Dunphy will help that effort, and they will get that new arena built at LaSalle.
Yeah, Tom Gola and Lionel Simmons aren't walking through the door, are they?
No, not not lately. No.
Hey, Bruce, I'll tell you a good story about that 75 circumstance around Coach Wooden retiring. It was in San Diego at the Final Four, and the late Dana Kirk here in Memphis, and I did a lot of radio with Coach, and we were pretty good friends. He used to tell the story about everybody thought Denny Crum was going to get the job, and he didn't.
Right. He didn't want the job right off the bat. In fact, Gary Cunningham also didn't want the job. Of course, Crum had come from Wooden's staff to Louisville, and he went to UCLA, assisted under Wooden, went to Pierce JC before UCLA. So he was a California guy. However, that job went to Clean Gene Bartow instead, which surprised a lot of people. Talk about, following some big shoes to fill. Bartow was never comfortable. He won pretty good. He got to the Final Four his first year. But at that point, UCLA had to win national titles. They lost to Idaho State in the Sweet 16 his second year, and he left for UAB, where Crum almost had a better chance. It was either when Gary Cunningham got hired or when Brown got hired Larry Brown after Cunningham. But it never quite worked out for Crum. But I think at the outset he knew this was going to be a very tough role to fill after Wooden, and he didn't want it right immediately after 75. And who could blame him? Because that was just Bartow went through absolute torture there for 2 years before he left.
Mm-hmm. Bruce, where do we find more of you?
Check us out online, goldsheet.com. We're still writing up these NFL. Why did I say NFL? NBA games all through the weekend, regular season, then playoffs start, and picks every day, basketball, hockey, little soccer, and baseball, which just started. We were 3-0 yesterday to start things off. Goldsheet.com. My picks there, also Vegas Insider and DonBest.com.
Appreciate it, Bruce. Thanks for joining us. All right, Bruce Marshall. Time now for a Masters update brought to you by Mid-South Wellness and Eastgate, Bob Simpson State Farm Agency, Wedgwood Golf Club, Bubba Sandifer, Emmett Baird Realty, and Courage Through Cancer 5K, which will be May 21st at Shelby Farms. Well, it looks like Westwood 1 has not sent it through. So we'll give you the update ourselves. Scotty Scheffler, 4 under through 10. He's 1 under on the day. He leads in first. Tied for second, we have 3 guys, sort of a log jam there. Schwartzel, M, and Neiman, all at 3 under. Neiman still trying to finish his day. He's at 12 right this second. Another log jam at 5th. You had Varner the 3rd, Dustin Johnson, Lowry, and Matsuyama, all at 2 under. Lowry and Matsuyama on 14th and the 12th, respectively. Still looking to see what Tiger can do to finish his day, but he is at 2 over through the day. And also John Rahm, who was the favorite coming in, is done for the day at 2 over. He was even today. That's your Masters update. We'll be right back on Sports 56 98.5.
This Masters Update has been brought to you by Ronald Bubba Sandifer, Emmett Baird Realty, the Courage Through Cancer 5K, May 21st at Shelby Farms, Wedgwood Golf Club, Bob Simpson State Farm Agency, and Mid-South Wellness in Eastgate.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
In the alley since 1948, the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see everything kind of getting back to normal.
Brett, we've done a lot of ads before, but maybe it's time for me to do a recap. We have valet parking at the end of our alley on Monroe. On Fridays and Saturdays, we give away our wonderful red beans and rice until it runs out. And you know we like to do things local. Miss Barbara Jackson of O Taste and See has been making these wonderful chess and pecan pies. That's pecan, not pecan, and key lime pies for dessert. And we just started serving this wonderful gelato from Sweet Magnolia Gelato Company. And just to remind everybody, you don't eat cheese and sausage with a knife and fork. You take a cracker, you put sausage on it, you put a piece of cheese on it, a little mustard or a little sauce, take a bite and chase it with the pickle. Brett, we've always been the place for all gatherings, whether they're corporate, rehearsal dinners, retirement parties, birthday parties, whatever. We seat anywhere from 20 people to 250 people. And oh, by the way, we are now open for lunch from 11 o'clock on Tuesday through Saturday. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Hey, y'all, this is your girl, Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Hi, I'm news correspondent Bob Woodruff. In 2006, a roadside bomb struck the armored vehicle I was riding in while reporting from Iraq. I sustained a life-threatening traumatic brain injury. The military term "got your six" means I have your back, and that day our service members had mine. During my recovery, I learned firsthand the challenges facing our service members who return home with injuries. While serving, their fellow service members always had their six. Now that they're home, it is our turn. We started the Bob Woodruff Foundation to make sure that the camaraderie and support they relied on in the military carries on, and we need you. Please join us as part of the Got Your Six initiative and help us be there for impacted veteran service members and their families. They've had our backs. It's time we have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org. That's gotyoursix.org, using the number 6.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
MLB second day. Not opening day. It's the second day of the MLB.
Opening for some, but not the seminal
moment. We had the postponed games. Those are already made up. Well, one of them's made up. Yankees beat the Red Sox in 11.
Great game.
6-5.
Yankees Red Sox play 83 times this year. Is that right?
And they'll all be on ESPN.
82.
Mm-hmm.
82.
And all of them will be,
Honest to goodness, Garrett Cole the Red Sox got after him.
Sure did.
If the Yankees can't get
good innings,
if they can't get good innings out of Garrett Cole this year, I don't know how they're in that AL East. That's gonna be real tough. But again, I don't want to. When do we start making generalizations about baseball clubs? Not after opening day.
Tomorrow, if the Cardinals lose to Pittsburgh,
and tomorrow if they win, we'll keep saying they're going undefeated.
If they lose again, if they lose to the Pirates once, or we clear house, everybody get Mo out of there. Get Ali Marmol out.
Who's this rookie manager?
Get them all out of here.
Bring back Wiley.
Why'd we even bring back Albert at that point?
Of course, you know the first stretch that I violate the no complaint about baseball, it's going to be over Ali Marmol, that first 6 out of 9 tough patch. And if the Mets are going good, why didn't we hire Buck Showalter? He was out there to be a real adult manager.
I'm not saying Ali Marmol has a flat bill, but it's flatter than most.
Doesn't it look good?
Looks
great.
fantastic.
Looks great,
it looks
doesn't
fantastic. Fitted perfectly.
The Cardinal way.
Also,
You're not going to get me to complain about baseball game. You've tried. You've tried to incite me.
I mentioned Yankees Red Sox. Yankees won 6-5 in 11.
I am so
Giancarlo
glad
Stanton
it's there.
actually hit.
I was
home
glad
in
to
that
be at
game.
AutoZone Park last night.
Yeah, Tigers beat the White Sox 5-4 earlier in the day.
Oh,
We have
that
a bunch
ending
of stuff.
was wild. It hit. Going back, A.J. Pollock's in right field. He's going back. Looks like he has his glove under it. It hits off his glove. Then he bobbles it and catches it. They call him out. Everything you think's over.
Right.
Then they review it. It hit the wall before it hit his glove. So it was Javi Baez who hit it too. Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough return on A.J. Pollock.
But he did go 3 for 5 on the plate.
Yeah, that outfield for the White Sox
It's
is
dirty.
deadly.
Do the reviews, does that do
Robert
something to
Jimenez,
y'all that we don't
Pollock.
have that? I mean, used to, if the umpire right or wrong, and we had the what was the umpire's name? Jim Joyce, that really blew the no hitter.
Oh no, the perfect game.
Perfect game. That's right, a
Armando
perfecto.
Galarraga.
But used to, when that right hand went in there, that was the end of discussion.
No, I hate reviews.
We've gotten to the
Hate
point.
'em.
We've gotten to the point where we review everything, even if it's like just a smidgen off the tip of the finger in the NBA or whatever it is. And now we have on field. The weird thing for me, it's kind of bizarre for me to see in the MLB the on field mics. They now have mics and they announce everything going on. I know that's like a small thing to a lot of people, but that's been a weird.
And they're in the explanation
transition.
game.
Yeah, it's been a weird transition for me. Also, we have some games going on right this second. The A's and the Phillies are playing. Phillies lead them 6-4. Orioles Rays tied at 1-1 in the top of the 8th. Dodgers Rockies. Dodgers up 4-2 in the top of the 4th. Mariners have the lead at the end of 4 versus the Twins 2-1, and the Giants lead the Marlins 2-0. So I want to go back to this. What is the date? And I really want this answer. What is the date that you start to generalize and talk about the MLB? When is the sample size? How much is the sample size?
I like Memorial Day. That's the quarter pole. And then, of course, the summertime holidays. Then the 4th of July is about the halfway point. Labor Day is about the three-quarter pole. And then the only time the standings really matters when the Sunday, the conclusion of the year. But I don't know if there is a date certain more than you know it when you see it.
Right.
Kind of the Justice Brennan discussion about something else. You know it when you see it.
Mm-hmm. So what do we think about the Yankees obviously get their win over the Red Sox late? What do we think about the Yankees going into this year? I think the AL East is just so ridiculously loaded. It's going to be hard if the Yankees can't get anything out of their starting pitching. If they get hurt, if they start to have injuries in that starting pitching, that's what they've run into the past 2-3 years.
As I've described them, I think the number one brand in American sports history.
Yeah.
Notre Dame football may be second.
I mean, close. Yeah, I'll give you that. That's fair.
And for them, with those standards and that money that they spend and their expectations to have not won it since 2009, that's a long stretch.
And it's a different day, too, with them because you have Brian Cashman complaining about the fact that they haven't gotten to a World Series, saying that the Astros cheated them out of it. You guys have had plenty of chances to get to the World Series. You just haven't. You haven't capitalized.
I'll still defend the Astros. I don't care how much you know it's coming. You still got to barrel up the ball.
No, I mean,
it's an advantage. It's an advantage.
It's an unreal advantage. It's an unfair advantage.
It's very advantage, very big advantage. But you still got to deliver in that setting.
Altuve's still getting the boo birds everywhere he goes. Last night in Anaheim, he was getting it every single time he got to the plate.
He gets the treatment because the fans have really. This will be the first year we really get to get our pounds of flesh from him because we didn't in 20. Last year, still kind of goofy, disjointed. This year, and with comments like Brian Cashman, I think that's only stoking people go, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to hate him, right?
Okay, I'll say this. I think the World Series and all of that, I'm going to hold that against the Astros as long as the Astros are a baseball club, going to be honest with you.
You are.
It's cheating. It's unfair. It's ridiculous. And there's a reason that they were able to hit the way they did at home. They're looking at monitors. They're telling exactly what's coming. That's not an advantage that you're supposed to have at any point. But
how widespread
on the flip side of that, very. I think
I
with this, I was going to say that with this, Brett. it was not just the Astros. They were the one that got caught. They were the example that had to be made that actually wasn't really made by Rob Manfred in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
They were the example, though, but I think there were more people that were offenders.
But see, I think
rule.
they really paid, too. We talked yesterday about some of their front office people. A.J. Hinch really paid.
Yes. There were guys thrown under the bus. It's just what it was. But to totally negate that, in 2021, what did the Astros do? They got to the World Series and lost, but they were 95 win. They were a 95 win team. They're still a good team. So yes, it was a ridiculous advantage, but the Astros are still that good.
And that's how good Dusty Baker is, and I sure don't think he should get the venom from the fans. I mean, he sure didn't do it.
Oh, he didn't do anything. But it's those guys on the, and I think the worst of the, at least the guys that spoke up about it was Carlos Correa, and he's out of town now. Carlos Correa, his comments on everything were so disingenuous.
He was almost as petulant as Brian Cashman's comments.
Yes, exactly. Like Carlos Correa was the guy that I really couldn't stand for about 2 or 3. I still can't really stand him all that much, but he's with the Twins. He's moved on.
Beautiful to watch play, though. Saw him
he's a hell of a player.
First time I saw him in 2017, interleague play in St. Louis. And I came back and said that next Monday, if I could or whatever day it was, if I could watch him play every day, he may be using Minnesota this year. But if I'm Minnesota, I take that chance. I take that opportunity to be used.
His spring training comments either last year or the year before of saying, get your facts straight when you're talking about this cheating scandal. We have the facts straight, brother.
We got the facts.
You don't come at us like that.
You have nothing to stand on.
Exactly. But that's just...
But I don't think they should be pilloried to the end of time, because in sports cheating, in sports corner cutting, I know of a lot worse cases. I know of a lot of things in recruiting.
This is still different to me.
And I think everybody's giving it as much as they're getting.
It's still different to me. Recruiting, and I mean, it's widespread, and most of these things are widespread. I don't think the cheating scandal where they're going to monitors in their locker room, in their clubhouse, and calling out exactly what pitch is coming. I don't think that was as widespread as we've seen with recruiting and stuff like that.
Gabe, get ready for this. Get ready for this. With all the flexibility and rosters and the movement, NIL, all this, and the player discontent and the player unhappiness leaving one place, we're going to, and you know it's going to be in the SEC. You know it, because we sometimes can be loose with some of the rules.
On the edge just means more.
Well, it just means more. Cuts both ways a lot of times. There's going to be a playbook scandal. Somebody selling a playbook, handing a playbook over. You can get ready for that as sure as anything. Is that the equivalent? Would that be over a line for you?
No, it would be stealing, because there's a lot of teams nowadays in the tempo era that call in their plays from the sideline and do arm signals.
Oh, we've stolen signals.
I know,
that was a thing a few years ago.
But again, I think that's the fair equivalent. I would hate to say this, and I'm gonna say it. Playbooks and plays being drawn up, that happens. People get their hands on other teams' playbooks that they're going to play.
Yeah.
They understand what's coming at them. I'll say it that way. Now, do they have full playbooks and they know exactly what's going to be called? Do they have a game script? No. But what you're talking about,
the Waffle House page,
there's a little
bit
bit
of Waffle House menu page.
There's a little bit of that already to a certain extent.
Yeah. And because all these staffs, all these analysts now are working at one place, and then they're at the next place the next year.
Yeah, recruiting scandals, though, going forward, I wonder how we're going to even discuss them in the day of NIL, in the day of being able to
not only
entice
discuss
somebody,
them.
in the day of being able to entice somebody to your school through an NIL deal. I don't even know how the back and forth the narratives are going to be drawn. We sort of saw a little bit of it with Jimbo Fisher, a little bit of it, but I feel like a lot of these are going to be. I feel like we're going to ignore a lot of what's going on behind the scenes because NIL is so prevalent.
Gabe, not only discuss them, but our new level of disgust. What's really going to shock us?
Nothing.
The shock value of scandal. I mean, that bar is really low now.
Yeah. I look at even in college basketball, and I hate to go there with this because we do have Memphis involved in an IRP and a notice of allegations, and Kansas as well, who just won the national championship. If you look at those cases at face value, and I know Kansas substantially worse under the NCAA rules at that time, substantially worse in the grand scheme of things. I think the James Wiseman situation is being overplayed by the NCAA. That's just my opinion on it. I think $11,500 on that face value is like the least of anyone's worries, but they did not follow the rules. I think if you look at that in today's day and age and how that would have been handled in the NIL era, all of that would have been different. Does the payment even
opening
happen?
bid in NIL?
Who makes the payment?
Yeah.
Then, there's so many different things you look at, and you just wonder if they would have, if these allegations, if these violations would have happened 2 years later. What lens are we looking at them through?
I still would love to have the video of the day that whichever one initiated the phone call, but Worldwide West and John Calipari, when the news broke that one of the level 1 infractions for Ole Miss was the player taken to a hunting club. I would still love to see that reaction going, can you believe all the stuff we've done and they're in trouble over taking somebody to a hunting club?
And I know this is always the fun one to bring up, but cream cheese on a bagel.
Always the best.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, and we've moved so far away from that again, the lens we look through now for all of those recruiting violations, I put air quotes there, it's so much different.
But that's what the NCAA enforces and investigates the best. They're better on the cream cheese front than they are the 100,000 in casino chips. And yes, people, that happens.
Brett, it's the open door. That's what people have to understand. And even with the James Wiseman situation, $11,500, not bad from a amount value compared to others, but it's the open door that they use to blast people.
It's exactly.
The cream cheese on the bagel is the open door that they use to come in and kill you.
And their investigation staff was always so small. It was really a 1-2 person shop, and the one that everybody was scared to death of was the guy with the really funny last name, like Swedish last name, like Johannigmeyer. I mean, if he showed up in your town, you ran. I mean, you were done because that person did not leave until he had the goods. Right. And the foray, the entree, the little bitty stuff that gets them in, the cream cheese, and then they crush.
It leads to the level 1.
Yeah,
that's what leads to level 1. Nothing else in the grand scheme. I mean, it's the
NCAA perfect at Smallville, aren't they?
Yes.
Gould Salon and Spa, they've been perfect for us since 1932. Mr. Sam Gould, he had a dream to provide his clientele with a truly professional and unique fashion experience, and it's been realized. Family operation, sons, grandsons, and valuable associates. And the best gift anybody can give, coming up Easter season, time to break out that new look, both in fashion and in health, the perfect gift for anyone. Get them that Gould's gift card. It's the best at GouldSalonSpa.com. Always the right size, always the right color, always the perfect tone and tenor for any gift giving season. Get that gift card. Go online to GouldSalonSpa.com. 90 years of distinction, 300 associates in our area, making us feel so very good. Exclusive to our area, all the locations, downtown, literally on Main Street to Overton Square, part of the Renaissance of the square, and an upscale ambiance, a chic style that once was considered a Hollywood luxury. We have it at so many great places in our area. And that gift, the gift card, it is the perfect gift. Go to GouldSalonSpa.com, exclusive to our area. The best holiday gift for any season is that Gould's gift card. Go to GouldSalonSpa.com. Shocker here, my style this week, right there. Augusta National. Got 2 days kind of behind us, 2 more in front of us, and it'll build to the moment on Sunday. Will it be a new winner, a fresh face, fresh name, a Scotty Scheffler, or will it be a repeat winner? Maybe a Charles Schwartzel, maybe Hideki Matsuyama going back to back.
And I go along the same lines. It's Tiger Woods, though. It's Tiger Woods who's shown the style this week. Coming back from what he is coming back from, getting in a car wreck where he flipped his car, a crush injury on his leg, the rehab process. He's walking with a slight gait, but yet he's playing
the physical,
at Augusta,
the mental toll.
And it's looking mostly like he's going to make the cut. Now, it could implode on him. We don't know.
Think of the hours
Tied
he
for
had to lay there and think, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm never playing competitive again.
Weirdly enough, I don't think Tiger Woods has that thought in his brain. I don't think that computes in his brain. But 2 over, 3 over on the day, but 2 over on the tournament through 13. And Tiger Woods is just, in this country, in a lot of ways, we root on downfalls. But then when that downfall happens, we root on the comeback. And Tiger Woods has, from start to finish of his career, defied so many odds and done so many good things for the game of golf. And this weekend is just another example of a good thing he's done for the game of golf. We'll go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we wrap up hour number 2 on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio, presented by Tito's Vodka, from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Bellyacre's motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. 2 great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P, Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Daria or the Double Daria, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Bellyacres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Bellyacres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Bellyacres.
Jamie's log. Progressive. The Harrington's backyard. Day 27, 3:33 a.m. 333. All those threes mean something. Or I may be losing it. Been camped in the Harrington's backyard for 27 days now, proving that Progressive has 24/7 protection. They told me every day they understand what 24/7 protection means. Think I'm finally getting through to them. 333.
Progressive doesn't just offer a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection. Just not literally from Jamie. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the next generation of drivers, where titanium ends and the carbon age begins. Introducing the new Stealth Carbonwood driver from TaylorMade, with 60 layers of carbon twist-based technology designed for better energy transfer and faster ball speeds. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, or shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Looks like Scotty Scheffler taking a 2-stroke lead. 5 under on the day through 12. Tiger Woods, by the way, just birdied. So I believe that put him at 1 over for the tournament.
Scotty Scheffler in the middle of the fair lane on 13 too, and he's going for it.
But yeah, sort of log jam there at 2. Lowry, Schwartzel, Neiman all at 3 under. Before we get back into some golf news, some Masters with Rex Hoggard at the top of the hour, had to get to a little bit of NBA. And tonight we have Cavs at Nets, and Brooklyn owns the tiebreaker in that. They're both at 7 and 8. It looks like the Nets could potentially pass the Cavs.
Yeah, there's still some sorting out.
Yeah, the Nets could potentially pass the Cavs tonight and own that 7 spot with a win. And that would complicate the Cavs situation because the Cavs, if they fall out, the Hawks own the tiebreaker over the Cavs. So the Hawks could then jump the Cavs when it's all said and done and get into that 8 spot, leaving the Cavs at 9th. Either way, what's been done for the Cavs this year, what JB Bickerstaff and everybody else has done, that's been unbelievable to watch. Now, in the Eastern Conference, something we haven't really discussed so far.
And if you're in that 9-10 game, you only have one loss and you're done.
Right. And the Hornets, the play-in is going to be locked in. Cavs, Nets, Hawks, Hornets in some order, some form or fashion. Hornets likely in that 10 spot. One thing we haven't discussed out of the Eastern Conference, the Raptors. And this is an interesting thing with a few layers.
Very dangerous.
In the Eastern Conference, you would think if you're a top seed, if you're 1 through 3 or 4 potentially, the 76ers right now would play the Raptors. You would want to avoid them at all costs. And the layers here, one, they're a damn good team. And they have a good coach. They have a winning coach, a guy who's won a championship, and Nick Nurse. And Pascal Siakam has come back and had a hell of a year. Fred VanVleet has been good. And Scotty Barnes. I mean, I look at that guy. I mean, I don't know if he's going to win Rookie of the Year. I'm not sure, but he's certainly in the running. He certainly will be in the top 3, top 5 in voting. Scotty Barnes has been really good out of Florida State. Also, Gary Trent's been good, 18 points a game. OG Anunoby, he's been hurt quite a bit, but I don't know what's going to happen with him, but he had a good year for the most part while he was actually playing. But the bigger layer to this story is the COVID restrictions in Canada. If you have anybody on your team that's unvaccinated, they cannot play in the country of Canada. So right now, if the 76ers were to visit the Raptors, by the way, the 76ers did play the Raptors yesterday, and there was one guy who couldn't play, Matisse Thybulle. So the thought there is that he is unvaccinated. If the 76ers visit the Raptors during the playoffs, Matisse Thybulle, their best defender, their lockdown defender, will not be able to play in that series or those games.
I just wonder, will it impact NHL playoffs like this?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I'm not totally positive on that.
Because the NHL, they were very proud last fall touting 100%.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on the vaccination status, and I don't know about.
And I don't know if when it comes to Canadian government's going to relax that.
When it comes to the Canadian government, do you have to be boosted as well?
What is vac status?
Yeah, what's vac status? Is it just 2 in the arm?
Now it's 2 in the booster, but it feels like even here it could change by fall to 2 and 2 boosters.
Mm-hmm. The Raptors are one of those teams, though, you look at. I don't know if they're capable of winning a championship.
Could make it really uncomfortable.
But they're going to piss off those top 4 seeds.
Could stretch
Bucks,
you out
Celtics, and 76ers.
to 7 competitive games and scare you to death. And then, I mentioned it earlier. We just get to sit back next week for all the NBA games next week. It's going to be like a week-long version of Dayton.
Mm-hmm. It is.
You just play in games everywhere, and the Grizzlies, just no sweat and wait to decide. I think Tuesday night will decide the Grizzlies' opponent won't.
That's part of the reason where I don't think it matters all that much if Ja plays these next 2 games. In these next 2 games,
I don't think it matters either, but I think he's playing.
But I think he will. Well, I think he'll get some minutes here and there. Although he was ruled out yesterday in last night's game, so he wasn't questionable, wasn't doubtful, none of that. So we'll see. But even then, if he does get minutes, there's still a week off. The rust could still potentially happen. So I think there's a lot of overthinking on that. I get the thought process of getting in there and getting those playoff lineups secured and getting guys understanding their role. But then again, you don't want to push it with John Morant going into the playoffs.
That's
you
right.
Need to have him.
If he plays Saturday tomorrow afternoon against New Orleans, matinee. If you play against New Orleans, then don't play until the next Saturday. I mean, that's a solid week of just sitting in rust.
And I know I say
No rust on a young guy, though.
And I know I say push it with John Morant. I don't think they're pushing it by any stretch. Even if they play him, I don't think they're pushing it. I think he's totally okay to play right now. I think he's completely fine.
I think he'll play in the next game.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow.
He had another emoji tweet late last night.
Was it a bigger smile?
Well, no. So this time
collection
it was the sleep emoji, then a smiley emoji, then a sleep emoji, then the little ninja that he always uses emoji.
Yeah.
So if you do the math, they're one night of sleep, off day, one night of sleep, game day. So I don't know. I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying.
That's a heck of
on
good
top
math.
of it.
Good math there, Brian.
Thank you.
Very happy for you. Emoji math.
Well, that's what it is now. You know, us kids now, we can't do regular math. We can do emoji math.
That game tomorrow, 5 p.m.
I really, if he's going to play one of these two games, I would much rather him play against the Pelicans than the Celtics. And I know the Celtics will probably be sitting guys down, but they play a different type of ball in general, no matter who's in there. A lot more physical, a lot more half-court stuff that could potentially put John in a weird position.
Y'all know who public enemy number one in this town is going to be if it's a series against Minnesota. And I am worried about him doing something that could hurt a Grizzlies player. Patrick Beverly.
I knew you were Pat Bev.
Grizz
great,
Grizz
Pat
great,
Bev.
yeah.
We once kind of liked him, enemy of our enemies, our friend.
Well, we thought for a second, hey, they're going to have a good lockdown defender that they can play with this year, and then he was gone.
Well, we liked him way back when he did injure a player that kind of helped the Grizzlies a little bit, but he will be public enemy number one in that series. He'll get physical, he'll get mouthy.
Well, that's his role. Is he a good player though? Not particularly on the offensive end. He's fine on the defensive end. But here's again, I always talk about this with Dylan Brooks, and I think it sort of, and I'd say Pat Bev's a little more of a stopper than Dylan Brooks on the perimeter, but he's not a stopper. He's just annoying.
Who do you take in a game of horse, Patrick Beverly or Tony Allen?
TA.
No
First
way.
team.
No
First
chance.
team.
Y'all, look, with all due respect to the Grizzlies, great. I'm taking Pat Bev.
First team.
100 times out of 100
Just
in a game
jump
of
shooting.
horse.
No,
in a game of
just
horse,
jump shooting.
Jump shooting Pat Bev all day.
Really?
T.A. couldn't
He was
shoot.
listed as a shooting guard.
That's not a good distinction. I don't think he was a shooting guard. I think he was just a defensive player.
Yeah.
First team all defense.
First team.
That's what TA was. Hour number 2 is in the books. We're going to come back for hour number 3. We're going to start it talking some Masters with Rex Hoggard from the Golf Channel live from Augusta. Then we'll get you to a Masters update right here on Sports 56 98.5.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
The Family Leisure family is growing, and they want you to help them grow even more. Family Leisure is now hiring for multiple positions. They're looking for self-motivated, goal-oriented people to come and join their family. Some of the positions include sales for swimming pools, hot tubs, and patio furniture. There's sales and associates for chemicals. Parts and service department associates are needed. Service technicians, you got to have a valid driver's license, and cashiers are needed too. Family Leisure is also looking to add to their installation crews for building above-ground pools. Send your resume to Family Leisure now, 2120 Whitten Road, Memphis, Tennessee, 38133, or email memphis@familyleisure.com. You can also call 901-371-9090. So come and join the family at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun and you all come together.
Found a great new restaurant in Horn Lake, Mississippi, Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's on Highway 51, Horn Lake, Mississippi. Bring back those childhood memories from homemade Sloppy Joe's to mouth-watering cheeseburgers, spicy or regular fries, chicken tenders, chicken wings, jumbo hot dogs, Just a little secret, Sloppy Joe's has got that nachos cheese on it. On fire, delicious. Fried catfish that melts in your mouth. Light batter too, even homemade lemon cake. Check us out. Don't forget Q's Sloppy Joe's. Daily breakfast from 7A to 10A. Try Q's Big Breakfast. 3 homemade gigantic pancakes, 3 meats, 3 eggs for $10.75. Generous portions. Come hungry. Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's, 5441 Highway 51. Just 20 minutes from Memphis. Can't miss it. Beautiful old brick house. Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's, 5441 Highway 51, Horn Lake, Mississippi.
Let's say you need a new car, so you go to a dealer, right? Wrong. You need to go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales. Why? Because why limit yourself to just one kind of car when you can choose from all kinds of cars, SUVs, and trucks? All different years, all different makes, all different models. Really good prices, too. Now, everyone says that about the money, but Mount Moriah Auto Sales proves it. They work hard to get you the deal you want, even financing. Plus, they have a huge full-service department to help you take care of your car. So many choices at Mount Moriah Auto Sales. They're almost unlimited, with new vehicles coming in every day. Now, these are really good cars and trucks and SUVs that you'll want to drive. And yes, low miles too. It's so easy. Just go to Mount Moriah Auto Sales, tell them what you want, but keep your eyes open because you might just find the car of your dreams. Mount Moriah Auto Sales makes it all possible. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner, right on the price, right on Mount Moriah. Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Final hour of this Friday and final hour of this week. And we will go to Augusta National, to the Media Center, and talk to Rex Hoggard from Golf Channel. And you've seen Rex all week. You can hear him with Ryan Lavner on their podcast, and it is must listen to. He is must listen to, and we will get to him after I tell you about the title sponsor this hour. That's DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area at DeSoto Auto Sales. Go online to their website, DeSotoAutosales.com, and check out all the beautiful cars and check out all the referrals, all the testimonials from very pleased customers throughout all these years. High standards at DeSoto Auto Sales. All the cars test driven, all checked out thoroughly, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. You walk in, you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, the anti-high-pressure sales. No high-pressure sales whatsoever. Very laid-back. They care about your time, but they do want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience because they know we live in a world today that time really matters. So that's why they keep the process so very streamlined and simple. You find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, you're out of there in 45 minutes or less. It's that simple. It's a guarantee at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County, to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience we've come to know and trust. We go down to Augusta National, to the Media Center. Rex Hoggard joins us now. Rex Hoggard, the last time I saw you in person and we visited, we were standing at East Lake in September at the Tour Championship. What odds would you have given me that day standing in that parking lot that Tiger Woods would be +1 approaching the 36-hole cut line at Augusta National?
Whatever odds you asked for, because that would have been easy money. I would have just thrown the car keys down and whatever you want to bet. Like, I would have been fine with it. I forget about him being anywhere close to being in contention. If you'd have told me that will Tiger play next year at Augusta National, I would have taken the same bet. I mean, I just couldn't imagine, knowing what we knew at the time, having seen just the wreckage of the car after the auto accident in Los Angeles, having gotten what little bit of information that we did about what he had to endure, the multiple surgeries on his right leg, the fact he was in a bedridden for 3 months. I mean, all of those things did not point to him being ready to play golf, not just now, but I would have probably given it at least a couple more months.
What do you think about how he's played so far? I think it's exceeding expectations, no question. But what do you think Tiger Woods himself, with his mindset and who he is, what do you think he thinks about the way he's played golf so far?
I think yesterday, scrappy was the word I think he used yesterday, and I would probably echo that. I mean, he clearly didn't have his best stuff yesterday, but I'm not quite sure that the expectations were for him to have his best stuff. And even though, and again, he's not very nostalgic, but I will say it was a greater appreciation for just the fact of where he was. I think he did take a moment to savor that I'm playing the Masters. I'm walking 18 holes. I'm 1 under par. I'm not that far off the lead, more so than he actually kind of broke down his round. I don't think he sat around last night wondering what he should have done on the 7th hole versus what he did on the 8th hole. I think it was a level of, okay, we've got one down now. We seem to be moving in the right direction. How do we keep going?
Mm-hmm. And Rex, a lot of people thought Scotty Scheffler would contend this week, and he still has 5 holes to play on this Friday afternoon. One of those, a very gettable par 5, approachable par 3 on 16, 6 under through 13. Looks like he's going to be the 36-hole leader.
Not much of a humble brag here. I picked Scotty to win.
Good
He's
pick.
the world number 1, so it's not as though I wasn't going too far outside chalk on that one. But if you look at just how he had played, I mean, he's won 3 times in the last 5 starts. There was just this building confidence that comes with that kind of play, this sort of meteoric rise to number 1 in the world, and the fact that he played well year before. He's only played this 3 times, but in his previous 2 starts, he finished inside the top 20 and played solid. I think he was a pretty easy pick, and I don't think many people, or if anyone, is surprised he's right up on top of the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm. So Justin Thomas, I just had this discussion with Brett. Justin Thomas, 1 over on the day, or 1 over on the tournament so far. And we know what he's capable of. I mean, a constant top 10 finisher, constant top 5 finisher, but only one major to this point in his career. Do you think it's been relatively unfulfilling that he hasn't added another one?
He was asked earlier this week, and I would just use his words. He was asked specifically, have you feel like you've underachieved in the majors? And it was a resounding yes. He pointed out that even though he does have that 1 win, he isn't pleased at all. And look, no one is harder on JT than JT. I remember asking him at the end of last year to grade his season, and I believe he gave it a solid D-. And that was after winning the Players' Championship, which is no small tournament. I think in his mind, he probably feels like he should have at least 2 or 3 of these events. He's one of the best players in the world, and he feels like he needs to play in it at the best events, and the major championships are how those are defined. Now, that also comes with a degree of pressure, and he acknowledged that that pressure is probably what has held him back, and he probably needs to go out and try as best he can. I know it's difficult, but try to keep a week like this in perspective and try to play it a little bit like you would next week in Hilton Head or 2 weeks ago in Texas, whatever the case may be. He needs to find a way to channel what makes him great and not let the moment overcome him.
Mm-hmm. Today, Rex, was one of those classic days of what draw you got. If you got early, it was more advantageous, a little more conducive. You got it at the time that Tiger started, a little more disadvantageous. Now it looks like the wind is a little more benign than earlier. Straight into Tiger's face as he's teeing off on 16. That's golf. That's luck of the draw, isn't it?
It is, and I think it's been a fair split. I mean, sometimes we can sit down and have this conversation on Friday afternoon, and you can clearly pick one side of the draw that ended up on the wrong side. And I think this week it probably evened out simply because if you look at the conditions yesterday morning and you flip it over, I mean, the golf course was probably about as gettable as it's going to be all week long. So for those guys going out this afternoon, like Tiger, I mean, there was going to be a challenge because it was gusting probably as bad as it did all day long when he teed off. But he also had the easy end yesterday, so it evened out.
The way the course is played through Thursday and Friday, who do you think right this second that will make the cut, that may be laying a little bit low? Who do you think is capable of making a run on Saturday and Sunday and putting themselves back into contention?
I mean, the defending champion is 4 strokes back, but that's not too far considering what Scotty Scheffler is doing, and certainly 4 strokes back going into the weekend. You'd probably look at him and he'd probably be pretty happy with that because he's been there. I think there's something to be said for being in that situation and understanding you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to put on a Superman cape. Just Sunday afternoon, give yourself a chance and see how it plays out on the back nine. We all know it. It's not a secret. There is a recipe to this, and Matsuyama learned that last year, so he would be the guy I would point to.
Rex, you go town to town on tour stops. You're in Memphis. We're looking forward to having you here in August. We promise 80 degrees and very nice weather all week in Memphis in August for our tournament. And we have our favorites here. I've said in following this tournament all my life in Memphis, I still think the king for the gallery, the all-time fan favorite, still goes back to being Lee Trevino. John Daly for some years was certainly very popular, and we've had champions like David Toms and Justin Leonard and Phil Mickelson. Even though he never won here, he was very well liked. At Augusta National, I think the all-time king of the patrons, at one time it was Arnold Palmer, and then it was transferred to Jack Nicklaus. There was a time that Phil was more popular in those patrons behind the ropes at Augusta National. It's not anymore. Is it Tiger? Is he the king of the patrons at Augusta National?
Oh, I would think so, just based on what I saw this week. I mean, I got here on Monday, and Tiger was playing a 9-hole practice round, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And that includes some pretty frenzied Sundays. That includes 2019, when Tiger won on that Sunday, and it was pretty frenzied. I have never seen a crowd like that, certainly not on a Monday, on a practice round. I mean, it was 4, 5, 6 people deep all the way down the first, second, third fairway, and then it just kept going as the day went by. Now, part of that is this event the last 2 years has either been played without any fans whatsoever in 2020 or a very limited footprint in 2021 because of the pandemic. So I think there is something to be said for people want to come out here and make up for lost time, and you're getting a feel of that this week. But there's also, like we said, the story that surrounds Tiger Woods is, I mean, it transcends golf, certainly transcends sports. It's something people just want to witness because you want to say, I was there then. But, yeah, I think he is by far the patron's favorite coming into this week.
Yeah, it buries every story. I mean, MLB opening day. You could, I mean, having a delayed a week to have Tiger Woods teeing off the same day as opening day was not very advantageous for the MLB by any stretch of the imagination. Now, in another story, it's sort of bearing. I mean, even in golf is the Phil story, and obviously an omission this week. It was announced that he did at the end of February make it known that he was not going to play. And I know it's tough to sort of talk about and understand his state of mind right this second, but how do you think this figures out? Do you think that there will be a sit down anytime soon?
A sit down with Phil and the PGA Tour?
Yes, and the PGA Tour.
I think eventually there will have to be. I mean, the commissioner made that pretty clear at the Players' Championship a few weeks ago, and I don't believe, and I have no reason, I mean, I have no facts to back this up other than a lot of circling rumors. I don't think he's been suspended. Not yet.
Right.
Yet being the optimal word here. And the commissioner made it clear, though, when the time comes that he does want to come back and compete, there will need to be a conversation. And my guess would, at that point, the commissioner will decide, has he served his sentence and has he been away from the game long enough? In my mind, I don't know what he has done to elevate this to a suspension. I've seen plenty of other things on tour that I feel like that were worse than what Phil said. And look, certainly there were plenty of things in those comments he made that shouldn't be said. And there's plenty of things that offended me. I don't know if they're suspension worthy. So I think right now he is serving a sentence of his own making. And even this week, the chairman of Augusta National was asked if Phil was disinvited, was the word that he used. And he said absolutely not. Now, the telling moment will come next month when he's the defending champion.
In Tulsa.
Yeah, at the PGA Championship. And I don't think he'll play there either, but we'll have to wait and see.
Rex, I wouldn't begin to know where to start. Maybe Tiger because of injury. When was the last time the reigning PGA Tour champ didn't get a chance to defend the Wanamaker?
I mean, I would think Tiger probably might have done it just because he was injured for much, much different reasons. I don't know that there's ever been a situation where the defending champion didn't come back because of personal reasons.
Yeah, where you were basically told to scram.
And I don't even know if he was told to scram. I mean, that creates a bigger question. The PGA of America runs the PGA Championship, so I don't know if if there was a suspension by the PGA Tour, if that would overlap with the PGA Championship. So there's a lot of unanswered questions, and I don't know that we'll ever get answers to these because I think whatever it is that Phil's going through right now is very private.
You're a consistent writer, you're a consistent reporter, so I think I know where this answer is going to be. We know who you picked pre-tournament. Who's your 36-hole pick?
It was Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, I know you picked Scotty Scheffler. Are you staying with him to win on Sunday for the next 36, next 2 days?
By 3. If I change my mind now, you should just hang up the phone. And
that's it. You can't change. You can't change now. Yeah. And that is a good pick, and that'd be a good story. I like his very gentle, unassuming manner.
He is goofy, and that's his words, not mine. And I love that he describes himself that way. And the other half of this is, and I did this story after he won the match play a few weeks ago. He has Ted Scott on the back, and that's Bubba Watson's longtime caddy. And we all know Bubba's done some pretty special things around here. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that there's some providence going on this week for Scotty.
Mm-hmm. He is Rex Hoggard at Rex Hoggard GC on Twitter, and you'll catch him through the weekend. You catch his coverage of the Masters. Rex,
great stuff.
Appreciate
Rex.
it. Man.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I hope I see you tomorrow or Sunday. Thank you so much.
Hey, you guys have a great week.
Thank you.
You have a good one, Rex. Yeah, and obviously, I think Rex definitely covered the bases there with the Phil Mickelson situation. That's just a tough situation to feel out, and
just to be in the ultimate penalty box that he's in.
How it's going to figure itself out is anyone's guess.
Doesn't sound good for next month, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
As defending champ at 50, now 51, 52, and one of the sports stories of the year.
But it is a good point that Rex makes. This is his own doing right now.
100%.
He could be participating right now at the Masters. I don't know the conversations had behind closed doors with the PGA Tour, Jay Monahan. I don't know. But by all accounts, by everything in the news around his story, he could be participating. He's choosing himself not to. He before he made this decision, he said he has to spend time with family, yada, yada, yada. But I think it's less that and more damage control he has to deal with the comments he made in regards to the Saudis. It's just,
if Scotty Scheffler, if he adds on here, he'll have a pretty, if he got it up to 4 or 5, that's a commanding lead, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Scotty Scheffler coming into this tournament, what is 3 of the 5 coming in?
Weather looks a little warmer tomorrow. May not have to have the long handles on. They're packed though, and mittens.
Come on, Brett. It's only going to be 55. You'll be fine.
When you're this thin-blooded and this old, you'll be cold too.
Who knows? Maybe I'll lose some weight here coming up soon, but I don't see myself getting thin-blooded anytime soon there, Brett. I feel like I got extra insulation, extra thickness to my blood.
But tomorrow, high of 61. It was around 57, 58 for a few days.
Where do you park yourself when you get to Augusta? You move around, I'm sure.
I do. I love the action. Stand at the top of the grandstand on 15, and you can see all the incoming shots there. Second, almost most of the hole, you can't see the tee shots. Then all the tee shot action on 6 or 16 rather, the par 3, and all the some tee shots on 17. And if it's not obstructed, if it's not a lot of people, of course it will be, you can see a little bit of green action on 6. Standing on 6 tee, I love that par 3 because it's kind of straight downhill.
Yeah, following Tiger this weekend, probably you're going to see him whenever he
hole to hole would be hard.
Following him,
you got to camp out.
You wouldn't be able to see.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be able to see.
You got to camp out. To get a spot, on 1 tee tomorrow for him, I don't know what time he'll tee off, but you'd have to get out there really early. And I love number 1. The only hole at Augusta National that I don't like, and I don't detest it, is I just can't stand 240-yard par 3s, and that's about what number 4 is. I have about a 10-way tie for the hole I love the most, but 7 or 4 doesn't do much for me.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how many people got their tickets on SeatGeek. I would imagine a lot.
They should have.
Did you know your butt has a favorite app? Yes, I just mentioned it. That's right.
You better like it here for playoff games.
That's right. It's SeatGeek. SeatGeek app is the best way to buy tickets for live events. I love the variety, but I have to highlight something. If you are looking for Grizzlies playoff tickets, go to SeatGeek right now. Best deals that you could possibly find, and they make it easy for you. Go look at them, and also I'll give you a promo code at the end of this conversation, and you will be able to get $20 more off. But go and check that out. But they do have a variety. Even if you're not looking for Grizzlies playoff tickets, they have Beale Street Music Festival tickets. They have whatever you want. You go see a show at the Orpheum. They have a bunch of things that you can go see around town. Even if you want to drive a little bit out of town, you want to find something in Nashville, they have the tickets for you, and they're all at the right price. SeatGeek is so beloved by butts everywhere, they've made it the highest rated ticketing app. And what I was sort of referring to, it rates every single ticket from 0 to 10 to make sure you're getting a good deal. Green means good, red means bad. They really want to go out of the way to make their user experience the best it could possibly be. And I'll try to make it easier for you. You can get $20 off your first purchase with promo code GABE56, GAB56 at SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. You want to go get some playoff tickets, you can get $20 off that order. Take advantage of that. That's promo code GABE56, GABE56 for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. SeatGeek, get your seat in a seat. Download the app today. Now, looks like we're about to get into a Masters update. And we have some wonderful sponsors, and this will be the last update of the week. Just want to
thank
them so much for their contributions. Mid-South Wellness in Eastgate, Bob Simpson State Farm Agency, Wedgwood Golf Club, Bubba Sandifer, Emmett Baird Realty, and the Courage Through Cancer 5K, which will be May 21st at Shelby Farms.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. Seems like Scotty Scheffler has been near the top of the leaderboard in every tournament he's played in this year. He has won 3 times. The former Texas Longhorn was fortunate with his approach at 13 here in the second round. Well right of the green, but right near a photographer's area with still a great angle to the green. Scheffler chipped onto the green, and he had a look at birdie.
Just going to work a little bit down the slope from left to right, working up to the cup, gets in the right edge, and that is a beautiful birdie here at 13 for Scotty Scheffler. You have to be lucky, obviously, to get the number 1 and win golf tournaments, but that was a lucky break. Scheffler now 6 under with that birdie here at 13.
Mark Carnevale, the call on Sirius XM. So Scheffler, the number 1 player in the world, has built a 3-shot lead. He's 6 under par. You're listening to coverage of the 2022 Masters on Westwood One.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get where you want to go. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Your happiest spring starts with Lowe's, because SpringFest is happening now to help you find everything you need this season at a great low price. Come on into Lowe's right now and get 5 bags of premium mulch for only $10. And keep the spring savings going with $100 off select Ego self-propelled lawnmowers. Create a season full of happiness. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Mulch offer Lowe's.com, quantity limited, 25 units per item per transaction. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Valid 4/7 through 4/13.
No Friday fun at Augusta for Jordan Spieth. A triple bogey at 12, a double bogey at 18. Spieth outside the projected cut line at 6 over. He has never missed the cut at the Masters. Let's check the leaderboard, sponsored by Dell. For your small business needs, call a Dell Technologies advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. Scotty Scheffler, another Dallas native, on top at 6 under par. He's 3 under today through 14 holes in the last group here in the second round. At 3 under, 3 back, Charles Schwartzel, the 2011 Masters champion. Sung J M, Shane Lowry, who just carded the round of the day, a 4 under 68 to move to -3 overall. Also at 3 under, Joaquin Niemann and Hideki Matsuyama. Tiger Woods is battling, the 15-time major champ, with birdies at 13 and 14. His birdie putt at 16 moments ago turned left at the last second. Woods is 1 over par, 7 off the lead. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
This Masters update has been brought to you by Ronald Bubba Sandifer, Emmett Baird Realty, the Courage Through Cancer 5K, May 21st at Shelby Farms, Wedgwood Golf Club, Bob Simpson State Farm Agency, and Mid-South Wellness in Eastgate.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Searching for fun ways to spend your tax return? Boats for cats. Oh, flotation devices for cats. Don't waste it all on something silly. Spend smarter with Straight Talk. Get our Silver Unlimited plan for $45 a month with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot data on the nation's largest, most dependable networks with nationwide 5G. If you're looking to get the most out of your refund, your search ends here. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. As we all know, Memphis can be a hotbed for severe weather, and that weather can play havoc on our roofs. Most people don't know what they should do first when they're concerned about the condition of their roof. Call their insurance company, call a contractor, or trust a door-to-door salesman that's making claims that are hard to believe. My advice would be call the contractor that you know and trust. If you don't know any, research your local contractors and give 2 or 3 a call. I hope your research will lead you to us. Have your roof inspected, decide for yourself what you should do, and whether or not you should file a claim with your insurance company. It's your home, it's your policy, and it's your money. Don't let anyone pressure you into anything. If you give Five Ash Roofing a call, we promise personal service with a member of our family with no pressure and no hype. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back rolling. About 30 more minutes left in the week on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. If you have anything you want to get to us before we get out for the week, let us know. Also, you can go to our socials. You can watch us live there and message us. Sports 56 WHBQ, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Also our website, sports56WHBQ.com. Podcast hours on there. Also some featured audio. Now, in the past 30 minutes, we've gotten a news drop from Grizzlies PR, and it's a good one. It's a fantastic one. And if we're reading into Ja Morant's Twitter, we would have seen this one coming, but Ja Morant officially listed as questionable for Saturday night versus the Pelicans, Brett.
That means he plays, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
What about
That's what I think.
Nothing on Sunday against Boston?
That should, in my opinion, that should be Maine versus Memphis Hustle. Whoever that should be the G League teams squaring off against each other. Because I don't like the thought process. The Celtics are a very defensive-minded half-court team. They clog the paint. They do a good job. They have shot blockers. I don't like the thought process, no matter who's
Neither
out
team
there.
cares.
But I don't like the thought process, no matter who's out there, of putting Ja out there in the last game of the year.
And I hate that kind of marquee team that you probably needed earlier in the year to move the turnstile a little bit, because the Celtics do that because they only come through one time a year, and there are a lot of people in this area that was their team before we got a team.
I think the Pelicans, for a playoff sense, if you're trying to get them geared up and get your rotations right, getting guys understanding their roles, I think the Pelicans make a lot more sense to go match up with and play that game against with Ja Morant than the Celtics, because you're going to see a lot more teams like the Pelicans in the Western Conference.
It's going to be fun next week. This time, 1 week from today at this time, it's going to be full playoff fever, full Grizzlies fever. Get downtown, get a good weather break. After COVID, we're certainly moving to a different phase of it. To be able to get back out and enjoy this playoff run.
Can I ask you this? I think the last two games, and I'm not fully concerned about them. Is there any concern level from the last two games? And but that checkout factor at the end of the year with a young team and getting it ramped back up in time.
Well, you don't want to develop any bad habits at any time. And you kind of can in a lot of throwaway, innocuous games. And we talk about the turning it on and turning it off. They were just rolling along so good. Might have wanted the playoffs started a week earlier.
You don't want that checkout factor to hit and then still have a week of playing games to sit through and watch and then get into whatever matchup that is, whether it's the Clippers or the Timberwolves. By the way, Clippers, the news out of L.A., you want to avoid them at all costs at this point, because Paul George and Norman Powell back, and they're playing really well. But also, did you see Kawhi Leonard putting up some shots in pregame? I don't know if he'll be back, but there is a thought process behind him maybe returning.
I'm not scared of any of those first or second round matchups.
No, but there's a caveat to that. If Kawhi Leonard makes some miraculous return for the Clippers and everybody's healthy for the Clippers, that is one you absolutely, positively want to try to avoid if you're the Grizzlies.
I just can't believe he could turn it on that fast, though.
We're talking about
Kawhi 2019.
But we're talking about Mr. Load Management.
We're
talking about the guy that damn near invented it.
Yeah.
And the guy that doesn't care about the regular season
and
at
carried
all.
Toronto to a title.
And I don't even get the sense that he cares about being on all-star teams all that much or being on all-NBA teams. He cares about the playoffs and he cares about winning championships.
He's like Tiger. He just wants to play in the majors, right?
Yeah, basically. So, there is a caveat there, a small, tiny caveat that I don't think is all that realistic. But if Kawhi Leonard's back with the Clippers, that is a scary thought process.
I'm still not scared, but I'm very engaged. I'm very aware if Kawhi Leonard's out there.
Scared. Not. No fear of a 7-game series with the full strength
Grizzlies
Clippers.
team is the team. As I've said many times, we're sitting on a powder keg. I expect them to get to the NBA Finals. I do, and I'm not trying to falsely to raise the bar. I really do. I think they're that good. I don't think there's but about 4 or 5 teams that can win it all, and the Grizzlies are one of them. It's not the super loaded year. The door's open for someone with the Grizzlies makeup to do it.
I'm not saying that I don't think the Grizzlies can make a run, a substantial run. I think they can make a substantial run in the playoffs. I think they could be a championship team this year. But I'll have to disagree with you. A full-strength Clippers team scary as hell. A full-strength Clippers team could knock off the Grizzlies in 7 games. I don't know a lot of people that would disagree with me there. You think about what they have on that roster, and Paul George, Norman Powell, Reggie Jackson with experience, Marcus Morris with experience. You bring in Kawhi and defensively what they could do, the pace they could play with, that is a terrible match for the Grizzlies.
And how many times through all the different makeups of the Clippers, they find a way for it to come undone?
Yeah, that's true.
They never end it nicely.
Yeah, now last year, that was a Western Conference Finals team. and you got to give them credit for that. And they have that experience, and that's
Yep,
why
first time for them to ever get to
and
the
that's
Western
why
Conference
and that's why even when I'm not scared of the Clippers and Timberwolves in their current form. Clippers with Kawhi, completely different conversation. Not talking about that, but Clippers with what they have right now, Timberwolves in their current form, I'm not scared of either. But I really do believe if you're the Grizzlies, you want that Timberwolves team. If for nothing else, they don't have any playoff experience. The Clippers do have that.
A lot of basketball talk, of course, and also baseball. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. This baseball season turned K's into cash and big hits into big wins with FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a risk-free first bet up to $1,000. Just sign up, place your first bet, and FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. Great promotions every day. Safe and secure, all the different sports, all the different props. Tomorrow, Cardinals back in action. I like the Cardinals over the Buccos. I like Albert Pujols to get that first home run back in St. Louis, and I like the Cardinals to go over the stated over and under, the posted over and under tomorrow. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up. Promo code CASH to get started with your risk-free first bet up to $1,000. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Now, we didn't really get to discuss this all that much yesterday because it came out right at the end of the show. But Front Office Sports posted and did a report on Tom Brady. And Tom Brady, of course, retired, came back. We know the whole 9 yards with the Bucs. But when he retired, he was going to be introduced as the part owner of the Dolphins. This is according to the report.
Was he going to put up any real cash?
Also, yeah, I believe so. Also, Miami reportedly planned to pursue Sean Payton and then add Tom Brady as the quarterback. So Tom Brady would have been part owner / quarterback. And the plan was scrapped after the Brian Flores lawsuit, which was filed the same day Tom Brady retired. Now, I don't know how much traction this is going to get because it didn't actually happen. But this is a potential bombshell of a story. And Tom Brady really is the Don of NFL football. He can do whatever he wants, and he has so much pull, so much power, and
now that battle between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady to be the first to kind of run a team post football, and you know Peyton wants to. It's been rumored at a lot of different places. Mm-hmm. I mean, just being the announcer on the Sunday afternoon late game, that's not enough for either one of them, is it? I mean, they got to be socks, jocks, full control.
I've
cap running the cap.
Getting a text here from our very own Dave Woloshin saying that you can't be an owner and a player at the same time. Well, in the report, the report is that he was going to be part owner of the Dolphins, and then they were planning on adding Tom Brady as a quarterback. Again,
why's Dave got to do me like that? He didn't text me.
Dave, you hear him.
I've been on Wolo and Friends. I thought we were friends.
You got to text
Come
him.
on, Dave.
But yeah, that's that. I can only go off what is being reported and what is in Front Office Sports report. But
Papa Bear did it at one time, Dave.
But also, it's pretty unreal to think about the fact that he would have retired and then had no play. He never. It seems like the whole retirement announcement, there was no actual plan to retire the entire time. I don't know if that ever was
it for.
I don't know.
I don't either. And it was odd timing, and it got. What was the story
Tom
that
Brady,
completely knocked it off?
Brian Flores was
that
part
was
of
it. That was it.
And Tom Brady is he's such a don't look at me but look at me guy. He loves being the center of attention without making it seem like he's the center of attention. Not all. There's some people that don't like that.
Oh, shucks, me.
But Tom Brady is the king of that.
He is.
He's never going to go away. He's never going to go away.
No, he's going to be around NFL circles the next 35, 40 years.
You think he steps directly into ownership, though? Because
steps into a big role.
There's been this thought process, and I've heard it from some people.
I don't know if he can cut that kind of check.
I've heard it from some people. Would he step in and be a player personnel guy? I don't think he's the type of guy that wants to do that much work in his post-football career.
He's not going out and scouting games on Saturday.
I don't think he wants to be some
Tom
type
Brady
of GM,
in the press box.
some type of guy. Now, does he want to make decisions? Yes. But I think he'd want to make those decisions from an ownership level.
I can't see him at the Troy UAB game looking at the tailback. No.
Now he'd have scouts. A lot of those
Yeah.
GMs, they have scouts, and they send them to places, and then they take their
And I like
reports and
those
everything
guys.
else.
I like
Oh,
seeing
I
them
do.
out. I like talking to them.
Tom Brady, though, is very much ownership level guy. I don't think anything less than that would work.
And
for
won't
him.
the camera find Tom and Giselle every time in the owner's box? It would eclipse Kraft and Jones.
It's
wouldn't
so
it?
fair at this point, though, to ask, where is Giselle's mind on all of this? She cannot
Wherever it
enjoy
wants to
any.
be.
She cannot enjoy any of this. She's got to be annoyed with a lot that's going on with the retiring, spending 2 months at home with the kids, and then he leaves them immediately.
And we Googled this. What was her net worth that time we Googled it?
$600 million.
Unbelievable.
He's $400 million.
Maybe he can cut the check.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
he might be working for her.
And in the report, I mean, he wanted to be part of an ownership group. So I mean, he's forking up. He's not forking up 20-30% of the valuation.
Right, and he's going to be the front man. He's going to be the face man. A lot of those people don't own it.
Kind of like Peyton is for the Broncos.
Again, I use this example, like George W. was with the Rangers. He owned about 15% of them, but he was the front man to get the stadium deal secure. But that raised the value of the team.
But then also certainly with Tom Brady being
He
who
liked
he
baseball.
is, with Tom Brady being who he is in the NFL, he'd be making more decisions than the other guys in that. He'd be making more football decisions and ownership decisions, you would think, than other people in the ownership group that he'd be a part of.
What a sports weekend. What a great way to enjoy it. 2 great locations for the great Memphis barbecue. Either place with the commissary. The new Collierville commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar, and soon we're going to be able to get out on the patio and enjoy it. Going to have live music. Going to have so much festive good time. We got a lot of good times to catch up on, and we will there outside at Houston Levy and Poplar, are the original, the mainstay since the early 80s, where it all started for Walker and his great staff at the original in Germantown Memphis-style barbecue, the Slow Way. Delicious and authentic Memphis-style great food. And if you're craving an easier way to order, and so many people are doing that and using this, text commissary to 33733. Start with the great appetizers like the cheese plate. Can't go wrong there. Or the tamales, or the barbecue nachos, the smoked chicken wings, all that. Portions big enough to be your entree if you would like. But so much fun to just share at the table, having a good time with the golf on, with the basketball on, playoffs ahead, baseball getting started. Walker, a gigantic Cardinal fan. I think he's been to a bunch of World Series games. He's got memorabilia up at Houston Levy and Poplar from going to the World Series in '82. All the fixings, all the sides, slaw deviled eggs, bread as well. Order it by the pound, or a 6-pack, or an 8-pack, or a 12-pack. And save room for dessert. I know it's a challenge. That terrific banana pudding and the best lemon icebox pie I've ever had anywhere. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. The party areas, we're getting ready to get outside and enjoy those at the new Collierville commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar, or the original in Germantown.
So the Masters right now, Scotty Scheffler is just playing ridiculous golf right now. He's 4 under on the day. Obviously shot a 69 in round 1. He is 7 under on the tournament. He is ahead.
That's a healthy lead.
Ahead by 4 strokes. Logjam there at second. Schwartzel, M, Lowry, Neiman, Matsuyama all at 3 under, so a 4-stroke.
I thought it was a little soon for him. Did y'all have him on any broad list for picks? I didn't. I thought it was a little soon.
I didn't. And again, when you come into a week, and this is how I am with any
We begged
sport.
you to take Tiger instead of Sheamus.
Yeah. Sheamus. Sheamus, is he going to miss a cut, Sheamus?
No, he's going to make it.
Oh, he's going to make it. Barely, though. Rahm still at 2 over. So, I mean, but he can make a run on Saturday, Sunday.
He could. He could light it up.
But this is a healthy lead for Scotty Scheffler. But again, I get scared of anything trendy.
Just a little too soon.
Scares the hell out of me.
I'm with you. I like to see experience. He's got the defending champion 4 shots behind him, but right now, if how they finish, they would be paired together tomorrow.
But you do with Scotty Scheffler. There was the thought process of the hot hand, winning 3 times out of 5 of your last starts. I mean, that'll do it for you. Now let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, it'll be time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You have opinions?
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Yes, it's still winter. Yes, it's still cold outside. But Family Leisure wants you to start thinking towards spring and maybe even summer. So Family Leisure's pool and patio sale is happening right now. Come to Family Leisure to get started on your outdoor living space. Yes, I know it's cold and dreary outside, but this is the perfect time to think ahead. Pools are in stock and ready to go. Brand new 2022 patio furniture is hitting the floor each and every day. In-stock hot tubs are ready for delivery. You can get fantastic deals on play gyms, trampolines, grills, and outdoor kitchens. I know you are already looking forward to spring and summer, and so does Family Leisure. But if you sit on the couch too long, the best deals will be gone. So don't wait until it's too late. Stop thinking about spring and summer. Start planning for it. The pool and patio sale is in season right now. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's Whitten at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? And if you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at LawnSolutionsInc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Crunch Time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskins. It's obviously Crunch Time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over. The double steak grilled cheese burrito. So good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives, With unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
So, Brett, this is pretty good. What I learned today, and this is via Front Office Sports, too, who put the report out about Tom Brady and the Dolphins. Last night, Arizona's the Diamondbacks, Seth Beer hit a walk-off home run on National Beer Day. Seth Beer hit a home run on National Beer Day. So the Diamondbacks, and I know they're a bad team, but this is good. This is very good on them. The Diamondbacks' first 10,000 21-plus-year-old fans get a free Coors Light.
Good for them.
I wish they would make it.
They
should. You know what they should though? It should be just a domestic. You get a free domestic. Bud Light. I'll drink. Coors is fine. Coors is fine. Just don't give me Miller. Just do not give me Miller under any circumstances.
I learned that the wind blew at Augusta National today in the cut line. It has been affected by it. Hadn't affected Scotty Scheffler, though. He just moved to 8 under, birdieing 16. He has 2 holes to play, a lusty 5-stroke lead. The weekend's going to be fun. On Sunday afternoon, Scotty Scheffler could join the Immortals. A young player winning his first green jacket.
A lot of circles on that scorecard for Scotty Scheffler today. He was ridiculous. What I could have done without, a couple of things. You look at what's going on in L.A. right this second. The Clippers, a potential matchup for the Grizzlies. I think that's getting a little scarier by the day. And the reason I say that, Kawhi Leonard.
That gets your attention.
Kawhi Leonard.
But not fear.
Kawhi Leonard putting up shots. That puts fear in me. Okay. That puts fear in me for the Grizzlies. Kawhi Leonard putting up shots. You have Paul George already out there. And then you have Norman Powell as well. Also, what I could have done without is just the continued conversation about this Adam Silver load management issue and people saying that they should shorten the season. I'm telling you, right this second, from a money perspective, from coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, from seeing what other American sports leagues are doing with extending their season. The NFL just went to 17 games. They're going to go to 18 before it's all said and done. The season will not be shortened. That's the one thing I will say. So if you're coming up with all of these ideas of how to get load management
to spread
better,
it out.
And no back-to-backs, I think is a fair criticism. But they will not shorten the season.
Do you want to start any earlier, though? Do you want to start late September, early October, more in the teeth of football? Because remember a few years ago, the CEO of the Atlanta Hawks said, we're getting killed by college football season in this part of the world. And a lot of teams down this way, they are. Then if you get too late in the summer, it throws off summer league, throws off draft. I mean, it's going to be a tough decision for them.
Hey, real quick, also, Will Smith, 10-year ban from the Film Academy for slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. That's substantial. The Film Academy has other things to worry about, too, in their past and everything else. Good Lord.
That's a lot more than Bill Self will get at Kansas.
10 years for a slap? It was a bad decision. I think he should get some ban, but 10 years is a load of time. I don't think he cares much, though.
You think
he's not hurting in the wallet. He's all right.
Do you think he'll pay that full penalty? You think they'll really stick to 10, or they'll amend it along the way?
I think
time served.
My brain says they should amend it. Will they amend it? I don't know.
One thing I was wrong about.
They should.
I think what's going to happen is I think he's going to be up for a big movie or something. They're going to say,
they're going to need
we got to have him here.
Exactly. But 10 years for a slap.
He's made a lot of money.
It was a stupid decision, but that's ridiculous.
But I would have thought by now the full restoration, welcoming back into the USC family, and the Heisman for Reggie Bush would have happened, and it hadn't.
True. And also with the Academy, they've been marred in controversy in the past where they knew about certain things. Whether it was Harvey Weinstein or Roman Polanski.
No kidding.
They knew about it, and they didn't do anything about it until it actually got out to the public.
Just Hollywood being Hollywood.
This whole holier-than-thou 10-year suspension for a slap is a little much for me.
Holier-than-thou? From Hollywood.
Yes, I don't understand.
Could have done without. Look, I know there are a lot of things working against them at this time of year. It was cold last night at AutoZone Park at the Redbirds game, and I know there are a lot of things that are running against the Redbirds right now. But it's pure sad to see how this first 3 games unfolded. I hope this weekend warm up and bigger crowds tonight, and I know fireworks tomorrow night. The Memphis baseball brand has been wounded. COVID was a lot of it. I know that, but I'm ready to see it I'm ready to see it get back to how it used to be, if we can do that. Last night was fun to be at the ballpark, but it was sad to see it kind of that damaged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But here's the thing. I'll say with Redbirds, at least, you don't really know what it's going to look like till you get into those summer months, till you get to the weekend. You don't expect
Let's
much
get a little
on a
warmer.
Thursday with chilly weather.
And I just compare everything. Maybe this is wrong to do, by the early days when it was seemingly packed all the time.
Well, I think in now's the time to go especially if you're a Cardinals fan. I mean, the amount of prospects they have that could be called up towards the later end of the MLB season. I mean, now's the time to go.
And big time defensive team, I think they're going to be.
And also, I just speaking from my experience, people tend to show up when they get into the middle of the summer with all the different nights they have.
Oh, they'll have a
Crawfish
bunch of
night, taco night,
promo nights. Bring in the crowds now.
Yeah, they bring in those crowds and they sit in the right field in those
fireworks sales
in those picnic tables.
Yep.
So what we're looking forward to over the weekend, Scotty Scheffler taking this massive lead. I mean, 8 under. He has a 5-stroke lead.
See, make it look easy over the weekend.
We'll see, but we're going to keep our eye on the Masters, and we're going to keep our eye on Ja Morant's return, possibly tomorrow night versus the Pelicans.
We talk about famous brands. I've talked about the Yankees and Notre Dame basketball. Sunday afternoon, one of the more famous brands in the history of American sport, the famous Boston Celtics. They will be here on Sunday. If they're back this year, that'd be NBA Finals. If the Grizzlies see them again before this season ends, that'll be NBA Finals in downtown Memphis.
We're not. Listen, I don't think we're going to see the Maine Celtics, though. I think or the Boston Celtics. We're going to see the Maine Celtics.
Maine Celtics, they were a good team this year.
We're not. We ain't
M-A-I-N-E,
seeing Jaylen Brown. We're not seeing Jason Tatum. We're not seeing any of those guys.
Redbirds are at home all weekend. Good chance to get out, get the sunshine out, get a little bit warmer. Baseball everywhere. Max Scherzer back in D.C. as a Met.
I guess also tonight at 8, keep an eye on Mackenzie Mbako and his decision. Four schools left: Duke, Kentucky, Memphis, and Ohio State.
And he's reclassifying, right?
The number 3 ranked recruit by 247, 6'8" small forward from New Jersey. He's down to 4. Many think it'll be Duke.
Brotherhood.
But Memphis is involved in the conversation with Mackenzie Mbako, so keep an eye on that. Is he doing it on IG Live? He's probably doing it on Instagram
It's something
Live.
like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll save you the trouble.
John Shire gets all the players.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what
I'd be shocked if it wasn't the
those
Brotherhood.
crystal balls are pretty set on Duke, aren't they?
Well,
Not
and they've
100%.
changed it, and I'm sure y'all have noticed this too. You have to put a confidence score in now. So a lot of people are more hesitant to put the crystal ball in because it can mess up your thing based on your confidence level.
Yeah. I've seen 100% for Duke, but that's all we have for today in the week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Alan Bell, Bruce Marshall, and Rex Hoggard for their contributions to the program. For Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night, weekend, and be safe. We'll holler at you Monday.